A heavy haze clouds Hannah's mind as the world spins within the dark, suffocating confines of the vehicle. The driver's predatory gaze lingers through the mirror, mocking her struggle against the potent drug coursing through her. Her lips move in a silent plea, but her consciousness fractures as the cold realization of her captivity sinks in. Eyelids heavy as lead finally succumb, plunging her into a forced slumber while the monster watches his prize fall. Her body slumps, a puppet with severed strings, fueling the driver's twisted grin as he claims his helpless prey. Tires scream against the asphalt, anchoring them in a desolate wasteland where no soul can hear a victim's cry. A shadow emerges to claim the prize, their eyes burning with dark intent toward the legendary yet unconscious Hannah. Suddenly, her gaze snaps open, sharp as a blade despite her trembling voice, challenging the predators in her path. With a chilling smirk, the man whispers a promise of torment, demanding she submit to the nightmare he's prepared. Hannah's warning is a low growl, but they only laugh, mistaking her lethal silence for a lamb's pathetic terror. As he moves to defile her, Hannah strikes like a coiled viper, her boot shattering his arrogance and his bones. Her eyes turn ice cold, a silent testament to their fatal mistake, just as blue and red lights pierce the gloom. The law arrives, led by a lieutenant whose heart stops at the sight of the blood-stained angel standing amidst wreckage. He rushes to her side, horrified by the crimson painting her skin, yet deep down he knows her chaotic nature. Officers whisper in awe, their gazes fixed on the woman who walks through hell and emerges without a single scratch. That's Sergeant Hannah Lee, a ghost of the battlefield. A counter-terrorism legend forged in the fires of special missions. A shadow operative with a 100% success rate, she carries a bounty that could buy a small nation. Her bloodline is one of secrets, her twin brother Doi being the unseen blade of the National Intelligence Service. The officers wonder about the legendary siblings, one a PMC goddess, the other a phantom spy, and their return home. Why is such a dangerous weapon back in Korea? Could she be the missing piece for their elite investigative team? The lieutenant barks orders, reminding Hannah of his rules, but she remains an untamable force, cold and utterly unfazed. She claims no lives were taken, though the broken bodies at her feet tell a much more violent, bloody story. Claiming intoxication, she justifies her lethal precision as self-defense, her voice dripping with a dangerous, calculated edge. She tosses him the evidence, a burner phone, and a stained knife tools of a crime she turned back on them. Every scream is recorded, a digital noose for the men who thought they could break a queen of shadows. They will rot for their sins, she declares, layering charges of assault and terror upon their pathetic, broken heads. Hannah demands the lieutenant's clean shirt, her own clothes ruined by the filth of those who dared touch her. He yields, his respect growing as he watches her. Without her, these monsters would still be hunting the innocent. But Hannah is not a hero for glory. She is a mercenary who knows the high price of her deadly services. Cash is the only language she speaks fluently, hinting that his promotion should come with a very heavy paycheck. A deal is struck over a future meal, a momentary peace before the storm of destiny begins to gather. As they reach the car, she insists on total silence. Her presence here must remain a shadow in the night. When asked about Doi, she speaks of a brother traveling the globe, a phantom moving through the world's darkest corners. From hidden alleys to Cambodia, he has been a ghost, always one step ahead of the danger that follows them. The lieutenant marvels at Doi's swift rise from the underwater demolition team to the front lines of global espionage. She praises his brilliance, a mind sharpened for war amidst the high-stakes chaos of overseas narcotics investigation units. Suddenly, a Cambodian number flashes on her screen. A cold shiver warns her that the world is about to shatter. A voice from National Security answers, and the air turns to ice as the professional tone masks a tragedy. Hannah's heart stutters before a single word is spoken, the silence on the line screaming of a fate she feared. The devastating truth strikes Doi as gone. Her twin, her soul, fallen in the line of duty on foreign soil. The lieutenant watches in stunned silence as Hannah's composure cracks, her fury erupting into a scream of pure agony. He moves toward her, sensing the soul-crushing weight of her grief as she rejects the impossible reality of the news. She shrieks in denial, her voice breaking against the sky, refusing to believe the invincible Doi could ever be silenced. Oxygen fails her as she collapses, the legendary warrior reduced to a broken sister, sobbing in the cold, hard dirt. The physical pain is blinding, a nightmare from which she cannot wake, as her world descends into total darkness. Faded childhood memories flicker like a dying candle. "I'll protect you forever," he'd promised. Awakening with a start, she grips their old photo. He's her only reason for returning home. Suddenly, a phantom ring pierces the silence. Hannah's heart races as she hunts the sound. A hidden phone and a voice from the grave. It's him. Her brother is actually alive. Where are you? She screams into the static. But the signal is a ghost, fading fast. Just give me your coordinates, she pleads. His voice drops, heavy with a lethal warning. Randy, they'll kill me. Hannah's resolve hardens. She won't let him vanish again. Don't hang up. Stay silent. She forces her breath to steady, fighting the panic. The agency lied. He isn't dead. This untraceable line means he's deep in the lion's den. Cambodia is her next stop. She must reach him before the shadows claim him. Sicily, Italy. A man emerges from the azure depths, lethally beautiful. Meet Julio Parenti, the ruthless capo of the Sicilian Mafia. Reports of a Cambodian bloodbath reach his ears. Niccolo is dead, the mission has failed. Without a word, the Dark Prince issues his command. Prepare the jet. We leave now. A predator's smirk touches his lips. Someone is waiting for him in the jungle. Back in the heat, Taijun's voice trembles. He's drowning in guilt over Dai's disappearance. Stop crying and start talking. Hannah snaps. She needs the one truth that matters. Where's the body? Taijun falters, haunted by the memory of a massive explosion. He suspects Dai stole something from the mob. A suicide bomber was their final solution. Meet me at the airport by 9:20. Hannah isn't asking. She's commanding the next move. Taijun gasps. You're actually going there? Her eyes burn with an unyielding flame. No body means no death. She'll drag him back from the underworld if she has to. The humid air of Phnom Penh stifles the streets. Hannah waits, a hunter stalking a lead. Taijun arrives, guiding her to a waiting rickshaw. This man was her brother's shadow. Where's your car? She asks, testing him. His excuses start to pile up like lies. Off duty, he claims, but his eyes shift. Suspicion begins to coil in Hannah's chest. He fumbles, scratching his neck in a nervous tell. An urgent matter, he mumbles. The heat is too much, he deflects. But Hannah smells the stench of a hidden secret. Inside the rickshaw, she shoves a phone at him. Give me the coordinates now. Sweating under her gaze, he taps the screen. 75 kilometers north, toward the ruins. A quiet village hides a dark mystery. Taijun's voice cracks as he begs her to stop. If the agency finds out, we're finished. Hannah doesn't care about rules or consequences. She peppers him with questions like rapid-fire bullets. Who did he see? What was the mission? From his shoes to his last contact. She demands every detail of Dai's final moments. Talk, or I'll make your life a living nightmare. Her aura is cold and terrifying. Reluctantly, he yields to the pressure. This is his final act of loyalty. They step into Dee's abandoned apartment. Everything is eerily still, frozen in time. The fridge is organized with haunting precision, just like the perfectionist brother she knew. This orderly life doesn't scream suicide mission. Nothing about this tragedy makes sense. Taijun reveals the target, a new poison. 𝑘𝒓9947A, the Italian Mafia's crown jewel. A poison masquerading as medicine. Invisible, lethal, and worth a king's ransom. He lost contact right at the drop point. The mission went dark in a heartbeat. When he finally found Dee, it was too late. His partner had decided to go rogue. A secret deal with the Sicilian underworld? Taijun is lost in a web of confusion. Listening to the tale, Hannah's instincts scream. Something is rotten at the heart of this story. Hannah's heart wavers. Can she trust the man holding her leash? Suspicion poisons the air between them. He might have sold her out already. For now, she plays the obedient captive while plotting her escape. Cold distance is her only armor. Every word from him is a puzzle piece to her brother's fate. Survival demands absolute perfection. Even her brother's sanctuary feels like a gilded cage, rigged with traps. She blasts the television, drowning her secrets in noise. Static screams against the silence of potential spies. Her brother's obsessive order was legendary. Hannah scans the room, noticing the tiniest fractures in the perfection. The intruders were sloppy. They mimicked his habits but lacked his soul, failing to align the labels correctly. Every hanger is out of place. Amidst the chaos, Hannah hunts for the ghost her brother left behind. She breaches the private sanctuary of his room. There, a lamp hides a secret, a projector born from genius. When did he build this elaborate web? To win this game, she must descend back into her past. A desperate choice lies ahead. She must contact the one person she promised to bury forever. The hunt intensifies. Hannah dials a number that feels like a trigger, ready to ignite the darkness. A cheerful voice answers, but Hannah remains cold. Silence is the only currency they share now. He mocks her, asking if she's drunk dialing an old flame. His voice drips with a dangerous, familiar charm. She skips the pleasantries, her voice like ice. The man on the line is Logan, her past nightmare. "What are you doing in Cambodia?" Logan's shock quickly turns into a predator's curious grin. Is he an ex or a stalker? Logan laughs, admitting he never stopped watching his favorite obsession. Hannah swallows her pride, demanding his help. In exchange, she offers the one thing he craves: blood. She dangles the bait of her current case, a promise of violence that makes Logan's heart race. Curiosity bites deep. When he asks for the target, she whispers a name that commands fear: Julio Parenti. The Sicilian Mafia kingpin is the prize she's offering on a silver platter. Logan accepts without a second thought. But first, Hannah needs her old tools of the trade, her weapons. Prepare for Valentine's Day. This private military company doesn't offer flowers, only a one-way ticket to hell. There is no mercy in their romance. When they target an enemy, only a corpse remains behind. Hannah roars into the Cambodian safe house. A former comrade greets her with a suffocating, desperate embrace. "Are you back for good?" She brushes him off. She's not a soldier anymore. She's a predator. She only wants Logan. Her colleague's face falls as he points toward the heart of the office. Logan Valentine, the commander of Shadows, stands before her. The air thickens with a heavy, possessive tension. Hannah plays the footage from the hidden projector. A web of high-profile monsters begins to unravel before them. FBI, CIA, and Parenti all tied to her brother's disappearance. The Sicilian boss is the key. They say her twin is dead, but Hannah knows better. He was hunting the most dangerous wolves in Europe. Logan narrows his eyes at Parenti's name. Kidnapping isn't the boss's style, he prefers the finality of a bullet. Parenti hates wasting time. So why would he keep her brother alive in this dark game? The investigation deepens into a Chicago terror cell. Two men, Smith and Petro, are the boss's new lapdogs. As the projector flickers, Logan recognizes a face. Mr. Kong, a client whose secrets are buried in gold. Mujin Kong is a rising titan. Why would a mafia kingpin bother with petty drug deals? Something smells like a setup. Someone might be wearing Parenti's mask to hide their own sins. Deception is the drug of choice here. Logan wonders why the Secret Service missed something so obvious. Perhaps they wanted to miss it, he muses. Suddenly, an intruder breaks their tense, private moment. A man enters with urgent news. Parenti's shipment was hijacked by a local gang called the Mesa. Hannah demands an identity. Meet Yan Song-yu, the new player in this deadly romantic chess match. She sizes him up with a sharp gaze. Yan-song offers a warm smile that doesn't reach his calculating eyes. "I'm Korean, just like you." He offers his hand, promising to be her shield in this lawless land. Back at the villa, the tension is suffocating. Taeyoon is pacing. His worry for Hannah borders on madness. Just as he reaches his breaking point, she appears. The captive has returned, but the chains are tightening. He lashes out, his voice sharp with a protective fury over the dangers lurking in these shadows. Hannah downs the water and slams the bottle, her defiance echoing through the cold, silent room. Taeyeon demands to be her shadow, his worry bordering on a suffocating, obsessive need to control her. Tension thickens as Hannah leans back, realizing the man she knew is now a stranger draped in secrets. With eyes of ice, she discards their history and levels a cold barrel at his heart. "Make the right choice," she whispers, her patience for his calculated deceptions finally reaching its end. She tears his story apart, pointing to the hollow gaps in the edited surveillance footage he provided. The dash cam reveals a darker truth. Her brother was dragged into the abyss just before the explosion. Why showcase his face if the goal was murder? This wasn't an execution, it was a staged performance. She exposes the corruption. The intelligence service declared him dead based on a carefully fabricated lie. The video was a fraud, a mere shadow of the truth. Hannah's gaze burns with vengeful fire. She demands answers. Taeyeon stammers, his composure shattering under the weight of her soul-piercing stare. He mutters about a charred body and a ruined vest, claiming the truth was lost in the fire. A dog tag is a poor excuse for a corpse. Hannah's grip tightens. She won't accept this convenient tragedy. "You're an accomplice now," she declares, flipping the power dynamic as he becomes her unwilling pawn. "Cease your lies and follow my lead, or I'll expose the hollow shell of your investigation. Tell your superiors I'm still hiding." Taeyeon can only nod as he's caught in her lethal web. Yeonsong strikes like a viper, mocking the tragic betrayal as Taeyeon collapses into a dark unconsciousness. "The real betrayal is yet to come," she retorts. This dark story is only just beginning to bleed. The engine roars. Yeonsong watches her go, wondering if she's running toward salvation or her own ruin. Logan's coordinates lead to a safe house, a prime target for the ruthless syndicates hunting in the night. "Stay hidden," Yeonsong warns. "The wolves are hungry. and Parenti is desperate to reclaim his stolen prize. Hana won't hide. She'll sneak into the lion's den before the predators even realize they are being hunted. Yansong smirks, his curiosity turning to her heart. Is there a man who dares to claim you? She has a lover. With a playful shrug, he concedes, letting her vanish into the moonlit distance. As she speeds away, he reflects on her intriguing spirit, lamenting the dangerous path she's chosen. Hana reaches the safe house, a sanctuary of steel and gunpowder hidden deep within the city's heart. This is a forge for war, a place where blood and iron meet in preparation for slaughter. Surrounded by cold weapons, her mind drifts to the dark, tangled legacy her brother left behind. She clings to a flickering hope, praying for a sign that he still breathes in this nightmare. Logan calls, his voice a tether to reality. Everything is quiet, she says, the eerie silence before a storm. Doubt poisons her thoughts. Is Yansong truly an ally, or just another ghost in this house of lies? Logan's silence is deafening. Instead of answers, he speaks of Liu, a name that feels like a threat. Who is Liu? The question is answered by a tall shadow emerging from the darkness behind her. Steel meets moonlight as she draws her gun, facing the mysterious man who appeared like a phantom. I'm Edward Liu, he purrs. Logan's warning echoes too late as she stares into his dangerous eyes. She ends the call, her heart racing. This stranger's presence is a puzzle she never expected to solve. Liu smirks, his gaze lingering with an obsessive intensity that suggests he's been watching her for a while. He's hunting Mesa, the syndicate that holds this land in a grip of iron, blood, and needles. They've crossed the Sicilian Mafia, turning a simple drug war into a symphony of international carnage. Hana is caught in the middle. She demands he stay away, yet his presence feels like destiny. I won't hinder you, he whispers. You take Parenti, and I'll burn Mesa to the ground. Suspicion flares. She grabs his collar, sensing the raw, dark power of a man who serves no master. You're no agent, she hisses. Liu laughs, a deep sound that sends a shiver down her spine. I'm just your guardian devil, he murmurs, his eyes promising a dark and obsessive protection. Logan's call shatters the silence. Mesa's moving, 3 hours until they reach the kill zone. It's a literal fortress on wheels, 40 armed killers, heavy shipping containers, and a fleet of trucks. The legendary Julio Parenti is already in hot pursuit. Is Hana truly ready for this beast? An hour later, Hana and Yansong map out their lethal dance. Precision is their only hope. The plan? Infiltrate the heart of the convoy and cripple the lead truck's tires. High-stakes sabotage. Yansong questions if she'll stall them for Parenti. Her answer is a cold, sharp no. Her strategy is simple yet deadly. Phase 1. A hidden landmine to greet Mesa's arrival. Next, she'll vanish into the ensuing carnage and slip inside the target trailer completely unnoticed. Finally, she'll lie in wait for the king of the underworld himself, the dangerous Julio Parenti. Minimum force, maximum chaos. She just needs one opening to enter that rolling steel cage. Yansong's voice softens. His heart is wavering for the first time. Stay safe, he whispers. The predator is near. Parenti is in the mix. The countdown to destruction begins now. The explosion rips through the air, but inside the trailer, shadows are still moving. Hana scales the speeding metal like a phantom. She bursts inside, guns blazing into the dark. A brute almost crushes her, but Yansong's bullet finds its mark just in time. A quick nod of gratitude. Now, they wait for the true monster to step into the light. He's coming fast, Yansong warns. A massive impact is about to shatter their entire world. She hears a voice filled with regret. Someone is terrified of their deal with the devil. Boom! A violent crash sends Hana flying. The world spins as the trailer suddenly buckles. Yansong screams her name through the comms, desperate to know if she is still breathing. Consciousness returns in tremors. She sheds her earpiece and grips her weapon. The hunt is on. A shadow looms at the door. Hana aims, her voice a frozen warning to stay back. The man doesn't flinch. He presses the barrel to his own forehead with a haunting grin. Kill me, he dares. Then, with lightning speed, he strikes. Hana's world turns to black. He slings her over his shoulder like a prize. Let's see if you're useful, little bird. Waking up in chains. The cold bite of rope against her skin. Cold, raw panic sets in. She thrashes against the restraints, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. Feisty reflexes, a deep voice purrs. Her captor is watching her every move from the shadows. Her eyes widen in shock. The man before her is the devil himself, Julio Parenti. He leans in, voice dripping with dangerous curiosity. Were you waiting for me, beautiful? Hana smirks through the fear. You should strip, she whispers, turning the tables with a taunt. I can't possibly face the world looking this messy, she teases, masking her lethal intent. He crushes her chin in his hand. Are you flirting with death, or just a fool? She doesn't blink. You'll be begging for my help before this night ends, Julio. His fingers invade her mouth, a silent, dominant threat. Learn your place before I break you. He presses his heat against her, claiming her space. The air between them turns electric. An intruder interrupts the tension. Why is she still alive, Julio? End her already. Julio's eyes smolder. She came to kill me. But she can't seem to keep her hands off. He toys with her hair, a dark obsession beginning to take root in his predatory gaze. The man shudders under Julio's murderous stare. No one questions the boss and lives. Surrounded by Italian whispers, Hannah senses the shift. The atmosphere is thick with betrayal. Behind her back, steel meets hemp. She's cutting her way to freedom in the dark shadows. The henchman raises his gun, ready to execute. But he's underestimated this little bird. In a flash, she's free! She disarms him, pressing the cold steel against his throat. Don't move, Julio, she growls. The huntress has finally cornered her dangerous prey. Hannah corners him with lethal intent. The untouchable Julio finally surrenders, raising his hands with a mocking smirk. He asks what she wants. Hannah demands his help to hunt the shadow who dared steal his name. As she tightens the garrote, Julio's screams echo. He realizes this woman is a demon who won't take no. Trapped and bleeding, he yields. Hannah's eyes burn with cold resolve. She only wants one thing, his total cooperation. Bring me the fake and I will give you justice, she vows. Meanwhile, sirens wail as police swarm the wreckage. An officer approaches Yeon-song, trembling. He asks what to do with the mountain of corpses littering the asphalt. With a cold smile, Yeon-song slides a thick envelope of cash. Dispose of the trash as you see fit, he orders. These men were mere scum, he scoffs. The police can claim all the glory for this hollow victory. While the law celebrates, Perenni's ghost crew vanishes with the heavy weaponry and the precious cargo. The drugs are gone. Now, Yeon-song must erase the evidence, reaching for a dead man's phone to scrub the digital blood. As he leans over the body, Tae-jun emerges from the shadows. Yeon-song's gaze turns icy at the unexpected guest. It has been a while since Hannah broke you, Yeon-song mocks. He draws his weapon, aiming it at Tae-jun's heart. Why hide the fact that Hannah and her brother are twins? Tae-jun simply shrugs, claiming the truth seemed irrelevant. The hammer clicks back. Yeon-song demands everything on Hannah Lee. He will not be denied his prize. Tae-jun pleads for her. She is just a civilian now, he claims, trying to protect her fragile peace. Her brother is all she has left. That is the only reason she has waded into this ocean of blood. Her fate belongs to me, Yeon-song growls. He keeps the gun leveled, forcing Tae-jun into a corner of submission. Be useful or die, he warns. As he turns to leave, Tae-jun stops him with a dangerous question. Are you obsessed with Hannah? Tae-jun asks. Yeon-song smirks. The fierce sergeant is truly a delicious challenge. She is worth changing the entire game for. Meanwhile, back at the lion's den, Julio watches his captive prey. Julio questions her fire. Why hunt the man who stole my face? He muses, his voice dripping with dark charisma. It is too late for mercy. My enemies were silenced by a sniper's bullet before they could ever speak the truth. Hannah curses her luck. The leads are dead, and her chance to squeeze the truth out of them vanished. My brother was close to the imposter, she reveals. Together, we can drag the mastermind out of the darkness. Word on the street is that you, Julio, ordered a hit on a top government agent. My own blood. Julio's eyes widen in surprise. Is your brother already in a casket then? He asks with chilling curiosity. He is alive, Hannah snaps. And I am here to make sure you are not the one who changes that. She needs him to be innocent. Deep down, she knows his trust is the only key to her survival. To win her over, the Mafia boss begins a dangerous game of seduction. He starts by unbuttoning his shirt. He offers it to her, bare-chested and bold. Romano, bring our guest some wine, he commands with a predatory gaze. Release Lorenzo and take a drink, he bargains. Hannah's instincts scream that this is a gilded trap. Drink, Julio insists, his voice like velvet. Your throat is parched, and I will not have you suffering. The glass gleams with suspicion. Is it poison, or something far more seductive? She cannot tell the difference. Risking everything, she kicks her captive aside and downs the wine. She stares into Julio's eyes, defiant until the end. The world begins to tilt. Her vision blurs, and her strength deserts her as she falls into his waiting arms. She collapses, but this was not an execution. Julio had a doctor waiting in the wings all along. Save her, Julio commands. He watches over her like a dragon guarding its stolen treasure, obsessed with her recovery. In her fever dream, a voice from the past whispers a vow of bloody vengeance that chills her soul. She bolts upright, gasping for air. The nightmare felt too real, a ghost from her past clawing at her heart. Her wounds are bandaged. She realizes with a jolt that the Mafia boss has drugged her into a forced slumber. Those pills brought back memories better left buried. It was no dream, it was a haunting piece of her history. She remembers her days as a secret agent, the day she sent a monster to prison and ignited a war. While he rotted in a cell, his family was slaughtered, every single one of them, paid for by her choices. He cursed her name with his final breath, promising a slow death. She laughed it off once, but no more. Now, that cold dread is back. The predator is closing in, and she is trapped in the boss's gilded cage. Every day was a vigil for her brother, until news of that monster's bloody end brought a dark peace. For once, death felt like a blessing. It was a harrowing descent that stripped away her very soul. That trauma shattered her reality, a nightmare she was forced to relive. But she couldn't break just yet. To save her brother, Hannah had to survive. Her first mission? Combating her own growling, empty stomach. Strategy requires fuel. Only then could she hope to tame the wild, unstable beast that was Parenti. Changing her clothes, she reflected on her captor. She knew he was dangerous, but his madness ran deeper. Why keep her alive? Parenti's eyes held no mercy, and her offers of alliance fell on deaf ears. Stepping out, she slammed right into Lorenzo, the very man she'd humiliated and bound just a few hours before. She offered a sweet, calculated apology, hoping to charm some secrets about the boss out of his guard. Lorenzo's gaze remained icy. "Back to your cage, little bird. Don't make me use force against you." Hannah played the docile captive, pleading for a single meal. Her hunger was starting to eclipse her fear. After a tense silence, Lorenzo relented. He couldn't ignore the desperation in the Special Forces operative's eyes. "Rations are low," he grunted, leading the way. Unbeknownst to her, a hidden mic captured every single breath. Julio listened from the shadows, his interest piqued. "Who are you really, Hannah?" Lorenzo finally voiced the question. "An assassin? A spy from the north?" Hannah scoffed at the labels, mocking the danger they sensed. "Just a disgraced soldier," she confessed. "From the Special Forces to a jobless nobody, a fallen warrior in captivity." Julio exhaled a cloud of smoke, his eyes darkening as he listened. The mystery of his captive deepened. As the heavens opened in a violent downpour, Lorenzo's demeanor shifted. He offered her a seat at his table. The feast before her looked divine. Hannah's eyes widened. She hadn't expected such grace from a cold-blooded killer. "Were you a chef in another life?" she joked, her curiosity bubbling over the aromatic steam of the meal. Lorenzo smirked, admitting it was just a hobby, but then his voice turned sharp with a playful, deadly threat. "Eat, or I'll take it away." Hannah didn't need a second invitation to dive into those heavenly flavors. She'd expected a brute with a gun, not a culinary master, but she had to stay focused on her mission. "Who is Sae?" she asked suddenly, the Korean name striking a chord of familiarity in this den of lions. Is this person a rival? Or perhaps the dark obsession of the Mafia king himself? Her questions were dangerous. Lorenzo's face hardened. "She's a colleague," he whispered, his eyes darting toward the shadows where Julio lurked. "Never speak that name to Julio," he warned, "unless you want to see the true face of the devil." To upset Parenti was to invite death. Hannah shifted gears, her heart heavy for her lost brother. "Where is he, Lorenzo?" she pleaded. In response, the mobster only mirrored her question with a grim look. His perspective was bleak. Julio Parenti didn't keep trophies. He cleared the board of all obstacles instantly. "He hates complications," Lorenzo explained. Captivity was rare. Usually, Julio simply chose the finality of a bullet. Hannah shivered. Does Julio plan to hunt the imposters? Or is he merely playing a game with his prey? Lorenzo sighed at the chaos of their world. Imposters were like rats in the gutter, constant and irritating. A realization dawned on Hannah. Julio wasn't hunting them out of duty. He was weaving a much darker web. He was using the chaos as a smokescreen for his own agenda. And her brother was the perfect scapegoat. She had to stay. She had to become the ghost in his house to prove her brother's innocence. Leaning back, she watched the rain, wondering what twisted game the Mafia boss was playing with her life. On the walk back, Lorenzo broke the silence. "You with the FBI?" he asked, his suspicions still burning. Her coy answer left him frustrated, but she thrived in the interrogation. The tension was her new home. Suddenly, a shadow loomed. Julio appeared like a wraith, a mocking smile dancing on his handsome face. "A romantic date?" he purred. The jealousy beneath his playful words was like a cold, sharp blade. Lorenzo scoffed, reminding the boss of her lethal nature. "She's not my type," he grumbled, avoiding Julio's gaze. Hannah fired back with equal bite, but Julio's eyes were already tracing every curve of her body. "You're still wearing my shirt," he noted, his voice dropping. "Change. We're going to a funeral." Under a black umbrella, they stepped into the storm. The real mourning was just beginning. Mourning a fallen comrade under Cambodia's heavy skies, they offer blossoms for a final, tragic goodbye. Eyes follow the hearse in silence, grief heavy in the air as every heart fractures differently. While some choke back sobs, Hannah's voice breaks the stillness with a haunting prayer in her mother tongue. Julio watches her, intrigued. She whispers that it is a sacred plea, a final wish for the soul's peace, a prayer for eternal liberation. As the storm fades, the atmosphere shifts from mourning to a deadly game. Over a tense meal, Hannah's mind races she must keep this monster, Julio Parenti, captivated at any cost. Dancing on a blade's edge, she invites his scrutiny, daring him to peel back the layers of her mystery. Julio leans in, his predatory gaze locking hers. "Tell me, little bird, what do you truly want from me?" Her heart hammers. She has endless desires, but the Mafia king demands she narrow her greed to just 3. With a dangerous spark in her eyes, she demands a promise that he will fulfill her every dark whim. Julio's smirk is chilling. "That depends on the price." Undeterred, Hannah lays her first card on the table. First, find her missing brother Doi. Second, hand her the heads of those who dared touch him. And third, a simple plate of food. Julio pauses, his cold exterior momentarily cracked by her audacity. Is she still hungry for more? With a sharp flick of his hand, he clears the room. Now they are alone. The air thickens with lethal tension. Julio glides closer, his presence overwhelming, his intent hooded and dark. His voice is a low, dangerous velvet. He finds it absurd, a delicious riddle he has not yet solved. He admits the truth. She is a ghost in his world, a beautiful void where information should be. Even his elite spies found nothing. No past, no records. As if she manifested from thin air. A ghost in his golden cage. With a wicked grin, he warns her. Taming wild, dangerous things is his specialty. He thrives on breaking the insolent. His hand snakes out, fingers tightening around her delicate throat. Her breath hitches as his touch ignites a chill. This man is not just a boss, he is a beautiful psychopath. Ignoring the terror, Hannah stares back. "And once your creatures are tamed, do you discard them like trash?" His eyes darken with a murderous gleam. Mercy is a concept he burned long ago. He despises fake submission. Now she sees the twisted code of the man holding her life in his hand. Yet, his grip lingers, confusing her senses. Then his tone turns lethal. "We found your bag, little ghost." Recovered from the wreckage was a tape. Gavin Smith was there, caught in the frame with her brother. Moments before the blast, they were together. "Tell me, how deep is your connection to a traitor like Smith?" Dread washes over her. But then, a memory flashes a man with a distinct limp following Doi into the shadows. Her brother carried the device, but the limping shadow was the real puppet master. The informant. The camera does not lie. That limping figure stalking her brother was none other than the elite Gavin Smith. Julio's voice turns cold as he recounts Smith's legacy, a top-tier FBI legend turned ghost. A history written in blood. Their war with the Red Mafia once turned New York into a literal graveyard. Smith tried to erase Julio from existence before vanishing. Now he has resurfaced, holding Hannah's brother. Why involve Doi? Hannah's desperate questions are met only with Julio's cold, cynical laughter. Paranoia is Julio's only friend. He trusts no one, not even God. To him, everyone is a knife in the dark. Yet, somehow her brother is dancing with the very agent sworn to destroy the Parenti Empire. Trust is a luxury Julio cannot afford. Your brother is with the enemy now. Choose your side, Hannah. "He was protecting him!" Hannah cries out. Doi was not a traitor. He was a target in need of a shield. In a flash of steel, she snatches a knife. Cold metal bites into Julio's neck, drawing a thin line of crimson. "I value blood above all else," she hisses. "Just like you, I will burn the world for my brother. To hell with his loyalty rumors." Unfazed by the blade at his throat, Julio's gaze burns with newfound interest. "Who are you really?" he growls. "Why should I trust a beautiful enigma with a knife to my jugular?" The mask finally slips. Hannah exhales, her true self emerging from the shadows of deception. "I am Hannah Lee, a mercenary for the shadow organization, Valentine's Day." She reveals her codename, One. She watches him, wondering if the Mafia king realizes who he has truly kidnapped. Dangerous desire flares in his eyes. He seizes her hand, dragging her into his lethal space. A heated kiss is met with cold steel. Hannah plunges her knife deep into Julio's side. He doesn't flinch, he dares her to go deeper. A dark obsession is born in his heart. She shoves the monster away. Killing him wasn't the plan, but things have spiraled out of control. Cold metal clicks. Now, handcuffed and helpless, she is forced into a state of total submission. She demands her freedom, but Julio knows better. He won't unleash such a beautiful, deadly weapon. Restraint is necessary, he warns. Even wounded, his presence feels like an iron cage surrounding her soul. As the doctor stitches his wound, Julio leans close. His proximity is a suffocating, intoxicating threat. Escaping is futile. He won't reveal his designs for her until she is completely under his thumb. Her schemes are crumbling. She thought he was a common thug, but he is a true predator. Manipulation was her game, but she's played herself. This Mafia king is always 10 steps ahead. A grave miscalculation. She pivots, questioning him about the whereabouts of the elusive 𝒂𝒓𝒓𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕🂂. Julio's reach is infinite. If he wants a man found, there is nowhere left to hide. Why does Smith want him dead? Julio executed Smith's younger brother without a shred of remorse. She hides her shock. He is merely testing her, waiting for a crack in her legendary composure. When will this end? Julio's answer is chilling. Only when he can finally trust his prisoner. Until then, she is his toy, a captive he can break or discard at his own whim. Hannah won't break. She eyes the two guards, calculating the force needed to drop them both. They look unarmed. One window, two guards, her mind maps a path to a desperate, daring escape. Suddenly, the cold barrel of a gun kisses her temple, shattering her dreams of freedom instantly. Don't move. The guard's voice is a death sentence. Her escape attempt ends before it begins. He demands she return to her room. Civility is the only thing keeping her alive right now. Julio sifts through her life. He finds her license, uncovering the secret she tried to hide. Hannah Lee, a legendary agent. He saw her as the Grim Reaper coming for his soul. Her blood-stained face and manic eyes didn't haunt him, they set his dark heart on fire. He admits a twisted truth. Deep down, he wanted her to pull the trigger that night. Romano arrives with intel. The hunt is on for Logan Valentine, Hannah's former employer and ghost. The connection is deep. Julio prepares to burn down everyone from Hannah's mysterious past life. Bodies will pile up. Meanwhile, Hannah remains trapped in her gilded cage, abandoned and alone. A full day passes. Her pleas go unanswered, and a more human desperation begins to set in. She needs the bathroom. The indignity of her situation is starting to weigh on her spirit. The door creaks open. Julio enters with a mocking grin, savoring her look of utter vulnerability. She promises not to run. She just needs the cuffs off for one simple, urgent reason. Julio's gaze burns. He claims she's driving him to the very edge of his self-control. His hands move with possessive intent, sliding beneath her clothes as the tension turns electric. Minutes later, she emerges. He stripped her, and now he must finish what he started. "Dress me," she commands. She refuses to let him win this psychological war of nerves. He questions her hygiene. Washing hands in cuffs is impossible, and they both know it. He insists on a solution. From behind, his touch is disturbingly gentle as the water flows. He helps her wash. Hannah is lost in the strange, dark intimacy of this captive moment. Then comes the bold question. Does any other part of her body need a thorough cleansing? She flinches. His flirty tone is a weapon, and she's losing her defensive edge. No amount of smooth talk will get him in her bed. Her life holds too much value. Julio counters perfectly. If life is precious, why did she stab him during their passionate kiss? The power struggle intensifies. In this den of sin, their dark romance is a dangerous game. Hannah's voice drips with icy venom, exposing the brutal marks he left on her porcelain skin. The air turns electric as she flees, but Julio strikes like a predator claiming his prey. Pinning her down, he whispers a dark proposal obey him, and a secret reward awaits her. He dangles a phone before her, a lone beacon of hope containing her brother's hidden fate. She lunges for the device, but the boss retreats, demanding her complete and total submission. Cornered and desperate, Hannah discards her pride, using her touch to melt his frozen heart. He falters for a heartbeat before coldly ordering her to dress for their high-profile guests. The key clatters at her feet. Downstairs, a chance to reclaim her life finally beckons. These visitors hold the power to secure her freedom or bury her in this mansion. She begs for a single glimpse at the screen, her soul aching for her brother's words. Hannah yearns to see the message, desperate to know if her family is still alive. Julio mocks her desperation, reminding her that his mercy is a gift he can revoke. As they descend the grand staircase, Hannah fears their disheveled state betrays their violent struggle. She worries the guests will see the marks of their encounter and spark a scandal. Acquaintances leer, questioning why the cold boss is so entangled with a woman like her. With a defiant smile, she spits back that she is merely his beautiful, broken captive. Julio retorts that letting her roam freely would be a death sentence for his own men. Logan explains they were summoned to ensure the Mafia hadn't completely shattered her spirit yet. With a sharp grin, she boasts of the blade she buried in the Mafia boss's shoulder. The air chills. "Are you the legendary ghost known as Agent 1? Julio's voice turns lethal. He questions her identity, his eyes searching for the truth behind her fierce, dark eyes. Logan confirms her past glory, but insists her ties to the FBI are long dead. Julio assigns new shadows to watch her, but Hannah refuses to be a bird in a cage. She snatches his drink in a flash of defiance, warning him to stay out of her business. Julio tries to reclaim his glass, but she shatters it, proving she is a lethal storm. Shards fly as he realizes his men aren't safe guarding a woman this dangerous and beautiful. He turns to Yansong, the only man brave enough to stand in her path of fire. The boss pours him a drink with a sinister smirk, sealing their dark new pact. Finally, free of the steel, Hannah feels the weight of the world return to her hands. Julio's warning echoes obey her guard, or return to the chains that once bound her. Swallowing her rage, she focuses on the phone, desperate for a lead on her brother. To her horror, the screen shows only a cryptic, accidental photo of her brother's feet. Like a predator tracking a scent, she meticulously copies the floor's pattern onto a scrap. She realizes the intricate design is no accident. It is a map to his prison. Yansong looms over her shoulder, his eyes narrowing as he studies the glowing, digital image. He casually names Mune Shipping, a company shrouded in the blood of the underworld. She demands to know how he could identify a global empire from a simple floor. He explains it wasn't the tiles, but the logo reflected in the polished, cold surface. The realization hits her brother is trapped on a vessel owned by the ruthless Muin Kong. Yansong gently lifts her head, amazed she survived the boss's first night of dark obsession. He confesses he doubted she would live once Julio set his predatory sights on her. To the Mafia, a woman with her fire is a trigger for a soul-deep war. He reveals Julio is the heir of Sicily, a man born from blood and betrayal. From his mansion, he rules an empire of illicit drugs disguised as medical salvation. Most terrifyingly, he has a fatal, obsessive weakness for women with her obsidian black hair. Vengeance burned against the Red Mafia and their boss's mysterious Asian wife. Was she Julio's lost flame? Hannah pressed Yansong, confirming the woman was haunting Sejong. The resemblance was chilling. Lorenzo's lethal warnings about that name echoed in Hannah's mind. The Mafia's shadows were long and dangerous. Yansong revealed Julio's invitation to a high-stakes yacht gala. The elite Mun Shipping hosted the event, and their powerful CEO was the guest of honor. Desperate Hannah sprinted to the pool to verify the invitation with her captor. She begged him to take her certain her brother was hunting the elusive Muin Kong. Her brother's motives were complex, but Kank's brazen impersonation of Parenti was a line too far. She spilled the truth to Julio, but his cold gaze offered no comfort. He dismissed her. Ordering her back to her gilded cage, he claimed such a dangerous stage was no place for her. Hannah lunged, grabbing him tight. She swore she could catch the imposter for him. Julio didn't flinch. He already knew everything. Did she think her secrets surpassed his absolute power? Fury boiled over. Why had he kept her in the dark if he already held the strings? His silence was a calculated insult. Why should a king report his findings to a beautiful captive? Switching to her native tongue, her rage peaked. He was playing games while she was drowning. Was this his twisted revenge for the night she stabbed him? How long would he deceive her? Julio's Italian was a dangerous growl. He demanded she speak English, yet she refused to yield. She challenged his icy authority in Korean, defying the linguistic walls he tried to build. He warned her she was losing control. But Hannah gripped him, threatening war if her brother was harmed. She'd tear the Italian mafia apart. Julio Parenti was the reason her brother was in this hell. With a violent shove, she sent him crashing into the pool, screaming for him to vanish. But Julio's grip was iron. He dragged her down, stealing her breath with a predatory kiss. Confusion swirled. Was she just a vessel for his ghosts, or the object of a new obsession? As her body went limp, the ripples stilled. Panic finally broke through Julio's cold, calculating mask. He hauled her up, eyes filled with a dark storm. "You've finally crossed the line," he hissed. She spat back that he was losing his mind, confusing her with a ghost from his past. Yansong arrived, kneeling in concern. He couldn't believe his wild bird had flown into such trouble. When she asked why he was there, his confession was simple. He had missed her presence. Julio's hand clamped possessively around her. If she wanted the party, she'd go as his date. Under his protection, she'd be untouchable. No one would dare touch a woman marked as his. The deal was struck. He'd take her, but his eyes betrayed a sudden, calculated vulnerability. He claimed a sudden fever, demanding her care as payment. The mighty Mafia boss was playing sick. Hannah was stunned. Could this iron-willed monster truly be weakened by something as human as a fever? Yan Song sensed the shift and withdrew. Julio's command was final. They would depart by sunrise. Their destination was clear. She wanted the gala, and he would give her the stage she desired. But first, she needed a makeover. He wouldn't let his woman walk in looking like a commoner. A shopping spree followed. Amidst the luxury, Hannah picked a sharp and sleek designer set. Style was secondary. She needed fabric that would conceal her blades for a lightning strike. Julio leaned in, whispering filthily that she'd look better wearing absolutely nothing to the party. She smirked, confident in her curves. Anything she wore would be elevated by her dangerous grace. High heels were next, but Julio's patience was thin. He rushed her despite her need for perfection. He forbade her choices, yet she laughed. Everything she touched turned to pure high-end luxury anyway. She suggested a coffee break, and Julio agreed as long as the caffeine hit as hard as his obsession. Amidst the aroma of espresso, the masks dropped. He demanded to know her ultimate price. Julio was being surprisingly gentle. Hannah knew she had to strike while his guard was lowered. He observes her closely, noting that she lacks the trembling fear most feel in his lethal presence. Hannah asks why she should fear him, then wonders if he even knows the loneliness of an orphanage. Her words strike a chord, prompting him to ask if she lost her parents at a young age. She reveals she never had them. She and her brother were born in a cold, forgotten motel room. Abandoned by a mother who could neither kill nor keep them, her twin became her entire world. Her brother is her life, a stark contrast to Julio's siblings who crave each other's bloody ends. Suddenly, the boss stands, announcing that the lavish preparations for her new life are finally complete. From designer gowns to diamonds, everything a bird in a gilded cage could possibly ever desire. Confusion clouds her mind as she realizes this was never a simple shopping trip at all. Julio smirks, claiming he never mentioned shopping. He just wouldn't let his prize look like a mess. She hisses at his shadow-like presence, but he finds her desperate struggle to be purely amusing. He watched her enjoy the brief freedom, his eyes gleaming with a dark, predatory possessiveness. In the shadows, Yansong takes a secretive call, his voice low as he navigates this dangerous web. He rummages through Hannah's private belongings, hunting for secrets while maintaining a false, protective front. He admits to his contact that this mission has spiraled into something far more twisted and complex. He warns of a partner's lethal recklessness for invoking the forbidden name of Julio Parendi. With a promise to dig deeper into the dark truth, he ends the call to resume his investigation. One question haunts him. Does she still have the phone she used to track her missing brother? Before he can find it, Hannah enters, her sharp, inquisitive gaze pinning him like a moth. She wonders if he is a loyal guardian or another wolf waiting for the right moment to strike. Yansong masks his intent with a gentle touch, claiming he was merely waiting for her safe return. His jealousy flares as he asks about Julio, desperate to know if the devil has charmed her. Shocked, Hannah realizes Julio might be his true target, making his protection feel like a calculated lie. He plays the hero, claiming her reckless nature is the only reason he stays by her side. He whispers of his feelings, begging her to trust a fellow mercenary over a blood-stained mafia lord. An alliance between outcasts, he suggests, is far safer than the obsidian heart of a man like Julio. But Hannah scoffs, seeing no difference between the violence of a mercenary and the sins of the mafia. Yansong counters by asserting that at least he sees her as a person, not a mere trophy. He calls Julio a fake, a monster who will toss her aside once his obsession is quenched. Hannah faces the grim reality of betrayal, knowing her brother was abandoned by his own kind. In a world of predators, she wonders who she can truly lean on as the walls close in. Her suspicion grows. Yansong knows far too much about the shadows she is trying to navigate alone. To test him, she demands the truth about Mujin Kong, but every secret comes with a price. She seizes him, offering a single chance at life if he stops his prying eyes from her things. Her message is clear. Trust is a luxury she cannot afford in this den of vipers. Later, a suffocating silence hangs over the dinner table as Julio watches his captive with dark intensity. Hannah breaks the tension, daring to ask if the wine he poured is laced with lethal poison. Julio merely smirks, challenging her to take a sip and dance with death if she truly dares. Yansong intervenes, demanding to know the true purpose of this chilling gathering under the mafia's roof. Finally, the boss reveals their next move. They are heading to the neon-lit gambling dens of Macau. Hannah explodes in fury, reminding Julio of the desperate search that brought her to Cambodia's heat. He remains calm, explaining that a luxury cruise is the only path to the elite party in Macau. The realization hits her like a physical blow. Her brother might have already slipped through her fingers. Julio cold-heartedly announces his return to Italy after this, marking this as their final meal together. He raises a glass in a dark toast, his eyes promising that the real game has begun. A car screeches to a halt at its dark destination. Hannah steps out, her eyes fixed on the target. Yansong offers to follow, his voice filled with concern. But Hannah insists on facing this danger alone. 10 minutes is all she asks for. If she's not back, they must storm the gates of hell. Before leaving Cambodia, she needs answers. Her brother Day's disappearance feels like a web of professional deceit. No one vanishes this perfectly without help. Someone powerful was shielding Day from the world's prying eyes. A secret alliance, an undercover hunt. They were digging into the shadows of Julio Parenti and Muing Kong. One final lead remains, Taejunk's house. The air grows heavy with the scent of impending betrayal. She corners him like a ghost. His face pales as he realizes his past has finally arrived. He lunges for his weapon in a panic, but the predator has already been disarmed by her grace. "Why so jumpy, old friend?" She mocks his fear, holding his own life in her steady hands. Years ago, she was the one who felt guilt. Today, the scales of justice are finally shifting back. He begs for mercy, using her brother as a shield. "Put down the gun," he desperately pleads. "No more lies," she growls. The story about mobsters and her brother's death was a total fabrication. Her brother had nothing to do with Parenti. The tale of his murder was just a cruel illusion. The truth is out. Muin Kong is the imposter. The CEO of shipping is pulling the strings. This is his final warning. One wrong word, and the silence of the grave will follow him. She presses the steel against his temple. "You sold out, Day, and now you'll pay the price." He scratches his neck, spewing more venomous lies. He claims Day was the one who turned traitor. That nervous habit. It's the ultimate proof of his guilt. She sees right through his pathetic deception. "Run," she commands with icy resolve. The next bullet won't be a warning. It will be fatal. A shot echoes through the apartment complex. Panic erupts as the neighbors realize the hunt is on. They swarm her, trying to intervene. She watches her prey escape while the chaos consumes the room. Outside, Lorenzo and Yansong tremble with worry. Has their queen finally crossed the point of no return? They burst inside to find her sitting amidst the fallen. Her presence is cold, terrifying, and hauntingly beautiful. "You're late," she whispers. Meanwhile, Julio receives a call about the mysterious shadow, Muin Kong. A man with no history, a ghost in the machine. No records exist of this shipping magnate's past. The company guards his secrets like a fortress. Even a grainy photo is treated as high treason. He was a nobody until a few years ago. He rose only when his brother stepped down. The caller mentions his dangerous new obsession. The lethal mercenary, Hannah Lee, is now by his side. A warning. She is a heartless killing machine. She left a trail of broken bodies in her wake. Julio just smirks, his possessive gaze darkening. They share a goal now, bound by blood and fate. He cuts the call short. He doesn't want warnings. He only wants her total, forced submission. Lorenzo carries her home, screaming for a medic. Even a graze on her skin feels like sacrilege. She needed this confirmation before leaving. The bitter taste of betrayal is far worse than her wounds. Taejunk truly was the traitor. His desperate flight proved everything her heart didn't want to believe. Julio enters, radiating a dark, suffocating authority. He locks the door, trapping her in his intense gaze. 1 hour, he growls. "You returned a bloody mess, defying the orders of your master." He prepares the medicine himself, his touch both tender and terrifying. He won't let her break. He demands she stay clean of other men's marks. His obsession is a cage she can't escape. Dead men's traces offend his pride. He wants her pure, even if he must break her first. She tries to play his game, but he's faster. He dominates her senses with a single, bold gesture. "Macau is next," he whispers into her soul. "Find your brother, then return to my arms." He is the man who hurts her, yet protects her. Her only weapon and her most dangerous captor. A twisted paradox of pain and safety. As she falters, she clings to his dark, powerful frame. The chair creaks under the weight of their desire. Their lips meet in a frantic, soul-consuming kiss. He throws her onto the bed, their lips meeting in a fierce, desperate kiss that blurs the line between hate and heat. Hannah's mind races. She'll use this monster, taking every advantage of his desire to secure her own survival and future. But is Julio her salvation, or a frayed rope leading to her doom? Meanwhile, Tae-jin is in a state of pure panic. He scrambles at his desk, frantically stuffing his life into a bag. He needs to vanish before the shadows swallow him whole. How did they get in? His high-tech security was supposed to be a fortress, yet someone bypassed it without leaving a single trace. There were no alarms, no warnings, just the chilling sound of heavy footsteps drawing closer through the silent, empty hallway. Heart racing, he reaches for a hidden gun. But a dark figure steps out from the gloom, radiating an aura of absolute death. Running only makes it worse, a cold voice warns. Tae-jin freezes, the air leaving his lungs as he slowly turns around. His heart hammers against his ribs. Standing there, looking like the devil himself, is the one and only Julio Parenti. Julio draws his weapon with lethal grace, aiming it at Tae-jin's head. "I hear you've been using my name, little rat." The imposter stammers a denial, but Julio's eyes are cold. The evidence is irrefutable. Someone has been playing a dangerous game. Sweat pours down Tae-jin's face as he begs for mercy, claiming he can name the true mastermind behind the entire deception. Bang! Julio fires a warning shot into Tae-jin's leg. "I'm not in the mood for excuses today," the boss sneers coldly. Back at the villa, Hannah stirs from her sleep. She finds Yeon-song watching over her, his presence a silent shadow in the room. She bites his head off for lurking, but Yeon-song remains stoic. He claims he's only there to monitor her recovery and pain. "The drugs will wear off soon," he says with a rare soft smile. He's acting the part of the devoted protector. He reminds her that as her bodyguard, her life is his responsibility. His gaze lingers on her, filled with unsaid intensity. He checks her bandages, asking where the pain lingers. Hannah tells him not to worry. Julio has already played the role of doctor. She admits the Mafia boss was surprisingly skilled. Yeon-song nods. Even he can't deny Parenti's expertise in dealing with blood and bone. They didn't even need a professional medic. The silence that follows is heavy, charged with a strange, uncomfortable tension between them. "I need water," Hannah says, breaking the spell. They lock eyes for a heartbeat, the atmosphere thick with unspoken questions. "Does the boss love you?" Yeon-song's whisper is a dagger. Hannah bristles instantly. "What the hell did you just say to me?" He quickly retreats, handing her water and delivering Logan's message. A new operation is brewing for the Valentine's Day Gala. Moo Kong will be there with a fresh guard. It's the perfect opportunity to strike and finally end this deadly game. The name Moo Kong rings a bell. Hannah remembers Logan's secret. This man is the reason they are all here. "Find a man named Oslo," Yeon-song instructs. Moo Kong will be standing right in his shadow. That is your target. The scene shifts to glamorous Macau. Hannah prepares for the lion's den while Julio watches her with hungry, obsessive eyes. He stalks up behind her, planting hot, possessive kisses on her bare shoulders. He's marking his territory before the world sees her. She complains that he's crossing the line, but he just smirks. "Are you ready for our debut, my beautiful captive?" In one room, together? She hates the idea. Being trapped with him in such close quarters is a recipe for disaster. The friction between them is electric and dangerous. Julio insists, however. They have a role to play and an audience watching. "You are my partner tonight," he declares. "We must look the part of lovers if we want to survive this night." She shoves him away, demanding he zip her dress. As his fingers slide up her back, his touch feels like a brand. He steals another kiss, but she snaps at him. "Focus, Julio. We have a deadly party to attend, not a bedroom." "I'd rather stay here," he purrs. "But if we go, I want you looking flushed. I want every eye on you." He wants her to look desired and provocative. When Hannah asks why, he explains the psychology of their lethal, high-stakes game. "The one who thinks they've already won is the most vulnerable," he explains. "They always make the first mistake out of arrogance." "You think Moo Kong will come to me?" she asks, startled. Julio smiles. He's using her as the ultimate irresistible bait. He leans in for another kiss, drowning out her protests. Hannah realizes his touch has changed. It's no longer testing, it's taking. He's becoming more physical, more obsessed. It's as if he's decided she's already his, body and soul, with no more doubts. Should she play along? If his lust makes him careless, it might be her only chance to finally break his golden chains. A man blinded by obsession is a man who can be betrayed. Suddenly, a knock at the door shatters their intimate standoff. "Your gear is here," Julio says, accepting a box. Inside lies the weaponry she'll need to survive the upcoming night of blood. Hannah inspects the contents. It's top-tier equipment. Every piece is a masterpiece of deception and death, disguised as high-end fashion. A sedative bracelet, a necklace bomb, and hairpins meant for killing. Tonight, the beautiful captive becomes a walking, breathing weapon. She models the outfits, seeking his approval. Julio offers a dark smirk of praise, fueling the tension as she mentions the cruise. Their voyage begins tonight. Looking at the harbor, Hannah notes the vessel's arrival, but Julio reveals a shocking truth about the massive ship. It is a mere decoy for the gala. He extends a gloved hand, a predator playing the gentleman, inviting her into his dangerous world. Helping her up, they depart. Outside, the night sky explodes with fireworks, illuminating a crowd that signals the start of a grand, lethal game. The scale overwhelms Hannah. She has finally reached the lion's den, the very place where her missing brother is whispered to be held captive. He is waiting for her. Even if he misses this boat, she is certain he will appear on tomorrow's voyage. Fate is closing in. Entering the ballroom, the opulence stuns her. Every eye in the room is fixed on them, their piercing gazes making her skin crawl with unease. She struggles to remain composed. Julio leans in, whispering that her beauty is intoxicating, especially when she is caught in his predatory gaze. He mocks her arousal. As she flusteredly denies it, he notes how her cheeks and ears have turned a delicious, betraying shade of crimson. While he teases her, a voice cuts through the music. Someone calls Julio's name, noting it has been a long time since their last encounter. Hannah freezes. Standing there is 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒓𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚, the legendary wife of a red Mafia kingpin and the woman who once held Julio's heart. This former flame's presence reveals everything. The cold man beside her must be none other than the feared 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒓𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚, a titan of shadow. A red Mafia high-ranker and corporate giant. As the air turns frigid, 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒓𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 begins to exchange pleasantries, her eyes sharp as a blade. 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒓𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 greets Hannah with a chillingly sweet affection. Hannah reels, wondering how this dangerous woman could possibly know her name or face. Suspicion gnaws at her heart. As Julio pulls her close, she whispers a frantic question, fearing she is just a pawn for his ex. She prays he is not using her to provoke his former lover. Julio only offers a sharp, mocking retort that chills her to the bone. In the middle of this suffocating tension, Hannah spots a face from her past. It is 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚, a ghost she never expected here. Seeing him here is a nightmare. She hasn't seen this man since their last violent encounter left him broken and hospitalized years ago. She had forgotten his true nature. Cyril is the loyal right-hand man to Petrov, a dog of the Mafia who never forgets a grudge. 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 observes them like a hawk. She asks if Hannah shares her Korean blood, offering a compliment that feels more like a threat. As Julio and Petrov retreat for a dark deal, they leave the women behind. The air grows heavy with unspoken secrets. Julio commands Hannah to stay put, his possessive gaze warning her not to move. Reluctantly, she submits to his ironclad will. Petrov leaves Cyril to guard 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚. Left alone in this nest of vipers, Hannah senses the shifting shadows of a coming storm. She searches for Yansong, her only ally. When she finds him, she demands to know his progress in securing this floating death trap. He details the security sweep. Suddenly, 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 approaches, her eyes locking onto Hannah with an intensity that demands total, unwavering attention. She suggests moving inside. 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 warns that the open air is a playground for those who hunt from the shadows. Snipers could be lurking on every roof. The party is a target, and the organizers have planned for a bloodbath tonight. Hannah's heart races in fear. But 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 whispers a shocking promise: Mujin-Kong will not dare to show his face this evening. Stunned by the news, Hannah demands the truth. 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 looks at her with pity, ready to shatter her fragile reality. 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 warns her to trust no one, not even those who swear loyalty. Then, she reveals a secret hidden in plain sight. 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 created the bracelet on Hannah's wrist. It is not jewelry, but a weapon loaded with sedatives and a hidden survival kit. Twist the blue diamond 90 degrees to release a life-saving antidote. This hidden gift is a secret from Julio's watchful eyes. She hid this from Julio, but trusts Hannah because she sees a spark in her. Hannah is captivated by this mysterious ally. 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 magnetism is undeniable. Hannah wonders if this is the dark charm that once drove the cold Julio to madness. She asks why 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 is helping her. The answer lies in the past, a mirror reflecting a tragedy yet to unfold. 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 sees her younger self in Hannah's eyes. She urges her to trust her gut, for tonight, nothing is as it seems. The man claiming to be Mujin tonight is a fake. Desperate for the truth, Hannah asks where the real ghost hides. 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 hints that the real kingpin is watching from the darkness, a puppeteer orchestrating his own spectacular and violent demise. He has sent a sacrificial lamb. Suddenly, the air changes. A predatory presence nears the dangerous Gavin Smith has arrived on deck. Hannah acts fast, ordering 𝒂𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 to find safety. She summons the guards, her hunter instincts finally taking full control of her. She sends Yansong to seal the exits. No one leaves. She gives him a false target to lure the real predator out. Using a decoy profile, she keeps the enemy busy. Every server is dressed in black, making the killer nearly impossible to track. Those black bow ties are her only lead. She hunts Gavin through the crowd, but the shadow stepper vanishes before her very eyes. He is gone! Suddenly, a brutal blow strikes her. A voice snarls that she will never understand the depth of his hatred. He has waited years for this vengeance. Reeling from the attack, Hannah realizes the true trap has finally been sprung. You dare break the truce? Hannah's voice trembles, staring into the eyes of a merciless monster. Kuzmin's gaze remains icy and devoid of pity. My only goal tonight is watching you break. He pins her to the wall, his grip tightening like a noose, relishing her look of suffocating terror. Gasping for air, she whispers a bitter curse. Karma is coming, as the world begins to fade. Just as darkness takes her, a memory sparks. Her brother, Julia's promise. She cannot die here. Adrenaline surges through her veins. This is not the end, summoning every spark of her hidden strength. She strikes Kuzmin's weak point. In a blur, her hidden blade pierces his flesh, drawing hot blood. The predator falls. But as she stands victorious, Julio's dark shadow haunts her every single thought. Is Gavin Smith truly here? Hannah hesitates, caught between her mission and the mounting, obsessive danger. Is Julio already hunting her? She feels his gaze. Suddenly, she spots Oslo moving through the crowd. A dangerous gamble begins. Hannah moves toward Oslo, her mind spinning a web of lethal deception. She crashes into a waiter, wine staining her dress. Beside Oslo, a powerful man watches her intently. He offers a handkerchief, his eyes lingering. Oslo's warning stare burns into her soul with silent fury. Are you Korean? The stranger asks. He is the ship's owner, a man of absolute and terrifying power. Hannah brushes his chest, a siren's touch. Meeting a man like you. It must be fate. She spins a tale of a stalker. He wouldn't stop. I was so afraid. She whimpers softly. She clings to him, seeking sanctuary. The boss's eyes darken with a sudden, possessive, and dark interest. He buys her lies completely. With a possessive hand, he leads his new prize from the party. Am I trouble? She murmurs. He leans in, his breath hot. I like trouble. It's never boring. The second floor is private, he whispers. Hannah knows she's walking straight into the lion's jaws. She remembers the warnings. This man is a mask, a mere puppet for a much darker master. He's a decoy, but he's her only lead to the ghost known as the real Mujin Kong. From the shadows, Gavin Smith watches her leave. In a secret room, the true wolves finally gather. Boss, give us the word. The reply is chilling. Investigate everyone. I want her file right now. As for the girl, keep watching. This game of cat and mouse is finally getting interesting. As they enter the suite, Oslo's voice reaches her like a ghost. This room is death, Hannah. She ignores the fear. I know exactly what I'm doing, she declares, stepping into the darkness. Oslo watches her vanish, his heart pounding. She's walking into a trap she might not escape alive. Inside, the man pours 2 glasses of wine. The atmosphere is thick with hidden, predatory intent. Change into this robe, he suggests. His eyes roam her body with a disturbing and lingering hunger. Hannah's eyes flick to the ceiling. A camera. They are being watched by an unseen, silent voyeur. And microphones. Every breath she takes is being recorded by the monster hiding behind the curtain. Make yourself at home, he purrs. He thinks he's the hunter, but Hannah is the sharp blade. She turns the conversation toward the ship's secrets, her voice a seductive and lethal weapon of manipulation. He finally reveals his name, Mujin Kong. The trap is set and the prey has arrived. She tells him about her sister's lover, a man named Mujin Kong, a true, heartless devil. Is he a heartbreaker? She teases, her eyes sparkling with a dangerous and false admiration for him. I've always had a weakness for bad boys, she whispers, her hand feeling for a concealed weapon. Nothing. He's unarmed. In that instant, the fragile mask of the submissive girl finally shatters apart. She slams him down, her knee on his chest. Who are you really? Speak or die now. Those guards aren't here for you, she snarls. You're just a rat in a gold-plated cage. Where is the real boss? She demands. Her voice cold enough to freeze his very soul. The man collapses into tears, terrified. I just got a call, a number from Cambodia. Dial it, she commands. The real Mujin Kong is watching, and it's time to talk. The phone rings. The true shadow is finally within her reach. The real nightmare begins now. Hannah pulled the trigger. The blast echoed as guards stormed the room. Oslo panicked, but Hannah silenced him with a single, icy, lethal glare. A distorted voice hissed through the phone, masking a dangerous secret. Nothing mattered but her brother. Hannah's eyes burned with a desperate fire. Tell me where D is. Hannah's voice was a blade against his throat. A shot rang out. The hostage fell, his life extinguished in a heartbeat. The voice laughed. Her brother wasn't there, but he was hauntingly close. The party is ending, Hannah. A cryptic promise of a darker meeting. Panic surged. If the game was over, Julio was walking into death. She had to save him. Julio was her only path to truth. Find her, Julio roared, his obsession flaring. Bring my woman back now. His possessiveness was a cage, fueled by an urgency that signaled war. Oslo tried to stop her, but Hannah tore her hand away fiercely. Who is the target? She demanded, the power imbalance shifting the air. We're watched, Oslo whispered. They had to play the part of lovers. He tried to hide the truth, but Hannah's gaze was razor sharp. Last chance, Oslo. Speak now, or the consequences will be fatal. The target is Julio Parenti. The revelation hit her like a bullet. A sniper's laser painted Oslo's chest. Hannah lunged, defying the Reaper's touch. Run! She screamed. Mujin wanted them all dead. No one was safe. The contract was over. Hannah was no longer an agent, she was prey. She would save Julio. He was the only key to finding Dee. She ripped her dress, shedding her beauty for the lethality of war. Then, the devil arrived. Julio entered, his presence heavy with dark intent. Leave, Oslo, Hannah ordered, trying to shield him from the coming storm. They're coming for you, Julio, she warned her dark, obsessive captor. Blood stained his suit like a morbid crown. Are you hurt? She gasped. Julio smirked, his eyes burning with a dark, terrifying, obsessive hunger. This blood? It belongs to the fools who tried to touch you. He pulled her close, his heart racing with a dark, obsessive relief. You're mine, Hannah. No one takes what belongs to the Parenti king. Your brother escaped, he whispered, pouring a drink with cold, steady hands. But the king faltered. Dizziness took him. The predator was now vulnerable. What did you do? He groaned, stumbling as the world spun away. In a drug-induced haze, Julio fired repeatedly into the decoy's lifeless body. Lorenzo burst in. The FBI is here. We have to move now. They fled into the night, the powerful boss leaning on his captive. At the hotel, the drug's poison lingered. Julio was weak, yet dangerous. Don't touch him, Hannah warned. Only she could handle the fallen beast. Yuri met them at the sanctuary. No one enters without my word. Is he drugged? Yuri asked, eyeing the man who ruled the underworld. I'm exhausted, Hannah sighed, her strength fading with the setting sun. She handed over the phone a direct link to their shadow-dwelling enemy. Track him down. I want every secret hidden in this device exposed. I hold the cards now, Hannah declared, her eyes cold as steel. A command hangs in the air as they pass Yuri. The strategist whispers that Hannah must utilize Rose's mysterious tools. The dark truth emerges. The wine Julio drank was laced with a lethal stimulant and a potent, unnamed aphrodisiac. Yuri warns the antidote brings a sharp shock, but it is the only way to restore his hazy focus. A dangerous curiosity flickers in Hannah's eyes. What would happen if she left the caged predator in this vulnerable state? Yuri's warning is cold. Things will get messy if he is not restrained. Finally, she drags the boss to bed. Hannah dismisses Lorenzo, the Mafia's loyal hound. He hesitates, but her sharp gaze and hidden knowledge force his hand. Pointing out his abdominal wound, she demands he retreat. Lorenzo offers backup, but the girl knows the monster better. She refuses help. Nobody else should face Julio's feral wrath. With a final piece of advice, the subordinate finally vanishes. Alone with her captor, Hannah ponders her next move. But when she turns back, the bed is cold and empty. The roar of the shower echoes through the suite. Heart racing, she enters the steam to find the beast waiting. Julio stands drenched, clothes clinging to his frame. As she questions his sanity, the predator finally locks onto his prey. Julio barks a final warning for her to flee, yet their tense banter masks a dangerous spark until he collapses in agony. Hannah urges him to hold on to his sanity, pulling her captor from the edge as they exit. The steam. As she guides him toward the bed, Julio suddenly claims her lips with a desperate, dark hunger. Water drips from his soaked frame as their locked gazes burn with a raw, terrifying intensity. The kiss deepens, spiraling out of control. Suddenly, he snatches Hannah's hairpin, driving the cold metal into his own flesh to stay awake. Hannah screams in horror, but he growls for her to run before his beastly instincts take over. He's a predator on the brink. Hannah glares back, unfazed by his lethal aura or the threat of her demise. She won't break that easily. Defying his darkness, she commands the Mafia lord to simply hold her close tonight. They collapse onto the silk sheets, but Hannah's mind begins to spiral with sudden, haunting doubt about this choice. Should she risk the antidote and his life to stop this? Before she can decide, Julio's shadow looms over. He pins her down, a dark apology on his lips. Regret is useless, now she is already trapped in his web. He whispers dark promises of total possession, vowing to claim every inch of her soul until she's utterly consumed. Meanwhile, Gavin Smith slips back into the shadows of their lair, his sudden change of attire raising sharp, suspicious eyebrows. Discarding his waiter's disguise from the gala, he reveals that the heat was rising and investigators were breathing down necks. He dodged the dragnet as a courier, yet his shadowy accomplice guarantees their tracks are buried deep beneath the surface. No matter how they scan the manifests, his identity remains a ghost, a phantom lurking within the ranks of the elite. The mystery man is Hannah's own brother, Do-yo, who listens as Gavin Smith drops a bombshell about the previous night. Amidst the sea of high society masks, Gavin recognized a familiar face, someone tethered directly to Do-yo's own blood-stained past. He reports seeing Hannah locked in the dangerous embrace of 𝑧𝒊𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚, their intense chemistry mimicking a twisted, dark romance. Sunrise finds Julio hovering over his captive, his predatory touch waking Hannah as she questions his cold, calculating gaze. Is he checking for a pulse? His silent turn confirms her fears, but Hannah refuses to yield, demanding the truth. She mocks his guilt with a sharp smirk, dismissing their night as a mere transaction, a cold exchange of primal desires. Yet, beneath her mask, Hannah plots. The deeper his obsession grows, the more power she claws back from his grip. Every drop of his lust fuels her ultimate scheme. Julio, however, senses her fire, claiming she hungers for him too. A cold laugh escapes her lips as she rejects his advances, turning her back on the beast who claims her. She bans his touch for 48 hours, a bold defiance that only makes the wolf laugh and accept the challenge. Sealing the pact with a kiss, the scene shifts. Hannah, known as One, meets the enigmatic Yuri Petrov for intel. The data from Moo Jin Kang's phone is finally cracked. Yuri slides the device forward, unveiling a chilling digital trail. A call originated from the very ship they haunted yesterday, proving a phantom was walking among the elite guests. The real Moo Jin Kang was there, hiding behind a double. Yuri leans in, hungry for the secrets Hannah extracted. Did she bleed him for information? Hannah reveals that Moo Jin Kang denied having Do-yo in his ruthless clutches. Though his words were likely lies, the pieces of the puzzle don't fit. She senses a far more complex game. With Gavin Smith lurking in the shadows, it's clear the tide is turning against their enemies. Yuri's gaze sharpens. Julio grips Hannah's chin, demanding she charm the truth from Logan. His gaze is a dark, possessive cage. Logan guards Moo Jin's secrets, but Hannah's connection runs deeper. She longs to help, yet Logan's iron loyalty remains unshakable. Suddenly, a hidden photograph surfaces, unveiling the real Moo Jin Kang. The sharpened image forces Hannah to confront a shocking reality. Her heart stops, the man's face is hauntingly, dangerously familiar. It is Yeonsong, and he has vanished into thin air today. With comrades bleeding and Yeonsong gone, a dark chill descends. Julio looms close, his possessive jealousy flaring over another's photo. Grim updates arrive. The traitor Tai Jin barely survived a hit. Who would silence him? Hannah shivers at the hidden malice. Only one monster possesses such power. Julio demands immediate answers. The hunt for the elusive Moo Jin King begins right now. Elsewhere, a man stands bathed in the glare of hungry cameras. Moo Kang prepares to broadcast a web of calculated public lies. He vilifies foreign criminals while painting himself as a tragic martyr. He mourns Dai Li, a life snuffed out by a terrorist's bomb. Another agent battles death as the political drama reaches fever pitch. Then, the final blow, his own brother Moo Jin is dead. The shipping tycoon has allegedly met a dark, watery grave. Brutally murdered at a gala and discarded like trash at sea. Moo feigns a brotherly bond, revealing a long-hidden family secret. A fake tragedy unfolds for a brother he truly despised. From the shadows, the real Moo Jin watches his own execution news. Logan Valentine appears, his presence radiating a cold, lethal authority. The deal is dead. Moo Jin's attack on agents broke every rule. Moo Jin denies the blood on his hands with chilling, calm defiance. He points toward federal conspiracies, weaving a shield of expert lies. A dark smirk reveals he's playing a much deadlier game. He presents the broadcast his death is now the world's truth. Moo's political trap is set, and the masses scream for blood. They demand swift vengeance against the murderer, Julio Parenti. A masterstroke that leaves Logan questioning his own survival tonight. Who truly profits from this chaos? Moo Jin's whisper is pure venom. Logan realizes he's a mere pawn in Moo Jin's grand, dark design. It is a lethal realization. This man is a true predator. Distance is wise, but the Mafia's web is already closing in. Logan attempts to sever ties with the cursed shipping empire, but Mujin interjects with a temptation that smells of pure greed. 5 times the pay. Logan halts, trapped by golden chains. What is the price for this new dark soul contract? Guard Hannah Lee. Not a single hair must be harmed. Yeonsong returns to his sanctuary, a king in his lonely tower. Under the shower's heat, he obsessively dissects Hannah's every move. Was her love for Julio fake? A mask for his obsession? Julio is nothing. Hannah belongs only in Mujin's cage. Emerging from the steam, Yeonsong finds a predator waiting. The cold-eyed Julio Parenti looms in the shadows. Suffocating silence fills the air. Yeonsong finally snaps, asking if the boss has lost his way. Julio nonchalantly sparks a cigarette, his gaze piercing. With one icy breath, he delivers the blow. You're fired. Yeonsong lets out a mocking smirk. Is the Great Don actually terrified of losing Hannah to his rival? Tension explodes into violence. Both men lung forward, seizing each other's throats in a display of pure hatred. Julio growls a lethal warning to stay silent, but Yeonsong continues to provoke the Mafia King's mounting fury. Losing his cool, Julio slams the man down. He raises a fist, ready to deliver a bone-shattering strike. Stop! Hannah screams, suddenly bursting in. She commands the Mafia boss to lower his iron fist at once. Julio relents, releasing his bruising grip. Hannah demands to know what sparked this sudden, dangerous physical clash. Julio is officially stripping Yeonsong of his bodyguard title. Hannah gasps in shock. Secretly, she knows she can't let him go, not if he is really Mujin Kong. He is her only lead. To uncover the truth, she must keep this man under her strict surveillance. Dusting himself off, Yeonsong rises. He warns Hannah once more. Stay far away from the devil, Julio Parenti. Remember your mission, he hisses. Finding your missing brother must remain your absolute top priority right now. That photograph you showed me? You missed a detail. There was a hidden signal Dai tried to send. Hannah flinches, her heart racing. Did you find something? She begs, but the bodyguard's expression remains frozen. Why should I tell you? I'm unemployed now. I no longer feel any obligation to share my secrets. Unless you join me. Yeonsong extends a hand, offering a dark pact to find her missing bloodkin. He teases her with a smirk. This isn't the time to be playing house with a possessive mobster. I won't grovel for your help, Hannah snaps back. I am fully capable of finding my brother alone. She storms out, leaving the chaos behind. But Julio is already chasing after her like a shadow. Locked away, her thoughts spiral. Was the bodyguard right? Has her mission been compromised by her own heart? Her goal was always clear. Use the Mafia boss. She tells herself the plan has not changed. Yet, a forbidden hope flickers deep inside. She shouldn't want a monster like him to be something more. A knock echoes Julio is outside. Hannah shouts for him to stay away, her pulse hammering with fear. He pleads for entry, his voice unusually persistent. Suddenly, her phone vibrates. Could it be him? Could it be Dai? Her breath catches as she answers. It's really him. Dai's frantic voice fills her ears, pleading for safety. Get out of there now, he cries. He is terrified for his sister, trapped in a predator's den. Do you know who that man is? Dai warns. Julio Parenti is a shadow ruler, a lethal mafia lord. I know what he is, Hannah whispers. But this choice is my only hope of finding you, brother. She takes a breath and opens the door. Julio enters as Dai's warnings continue to echo over the line. The danger is real, Dai screams. But Hannah's resolve is iron. Where are you? Just give me your location. He can't speak freely, the lines are tapped. The weight of the conspiracy hangs heavy between every word. Give me the coordinates instead, she demands. Every second counts in this high-stakes game of life and death. Location received. She tells him to stay hidden. I will destroy everyone who has ever crossed you. I miss you so much, Dai sobs. Please, do not throw your life away for me. I'm scared. Just wait a little longer, she promises. Suddenly, a warm presence looms. Julio is standing right behind her. He takes her hand with a possessive grip. I'm going with you, he declares, his eyes burning bright. Why follow me when you gain nothing? He replies that Dai is the key to her precious heart. I hate how he steals your attention. But I'll help you, just to have you all to myself. Hannah looks down, the guilt rising. There is something I must confess to you, she begins softly. In her past as an agent, she broke a man. She threw him into a cage forever. While in prison, he lost everything. He vowed to inflict the same soul-shattering pain upon her entire family. She ignored his threats until Dai vanished. Then the ghost of that man began to haunt her dreams. The man is supposed to be dead, yet his shadow is stretching across her world once again. His haunting words linger like a curse, casting a dark shadow over her very soul. She fears the malice she unleashed will return to imprison her in its cold grip. Vulnerability feels like a death sentence, as tears finally spill from her trembling, weary eyes. Julio gently wipes her sorrow away, claiming her lips with a possessive and reassuring kiss. He whispers that her fears are baseless before diving into the darkness of his own past. He speaks of a mother with raven hair who chose betrayal over the sanctity of family. His father offered mercy for her sins, but his brother Flavio only hungered for justice. That conflict ended in a blood-soaked tragedy when the mother's lover slaughtered young, innocent Flavio. Discovering his brother's broken body ignited a madness that demanded a heavy, violent price. Julio dismembered the killer with his bare hands, sending the horrific remains directly to his mother. Then, he forced her to endure a death far more agonizing than the one she caused. With cold, gloomy eyes, he reveals his nature, a man devoid of mercy and stained by sin. Even his own blood cannot escape his wrath. "Do you despise this monster?" he asks. She recalls their first meeting in the trailer, where he looked like a man embracing death. She feels neither hate nor fear, only a dark, soul-deep understanding of his inner pain. A passionate kiss seals their twisted bond, even as Hannah knows this peace is fleeting. She resolves to find her brother and vanish into the night within 2 short days. Their intimate embrace is her only sanctuary, while a storm gathers at DI's secret hideout. Gavin Smith watches the situation spiral, sensing that the world is spinning out of control. He can't fathom their dangerous romance, but Di fiercely defends his sister's desperate, heart-driven actions. Di insists she only sought the Mafia boss because of the poisonous lies fed to her. He has already leaked his secret location, hoping to settle everything in one final discussion. Gavin listens in silence, pondering the terrifying depth of Di's obsession with his sister. He remembers their first meeting in Cambodia amidst the smoke and ruins of a devastating bombing. Their partnership was born from blood and persuasion, but a new, legendary chaos is unfolding. The infamous Mujin Kong has resurfaced, summoning every criminal he once impersonated to a party. That lavish boat gathering became a slaughterhouse, where the underworld's most powerful figures were erased. Gavin never imagined he'd take up arms to protect a man as dangerous as Julio Parenti. His phone rings with an unsettling tone, signaling a complication that threatens to destroy them. A mysterious link heightens the suffocating tension, dragging them deeper into a web of uncertainty. They watch a broadcast from Mok Kong suggesting that the legendary Mujin Kong is dead. It is a masterclass in fake news, manipulating public opinion while the real danger lurks nearby. To make matters worse, Dai Li is wanted for drug trafficking and multiple counts of murder. With federal warrants issued, they realize a lethal hunter named Sergei is on their tail. Time has run out, and they must run before the authorities close their net. Dai refuses to leave without his sister, knowing she is already walking into the lion's den. Gavin offers his secret undercover phone, a relic of a life he vowed to abandon. They flee into the dark, while preparing to call the boss they once betrayed. Meanwhile, Mujin Kong and Logan speed away, dissecting the cause of their clash with Julio. Mujin admits his pursuit of Hannah was the flame that provoked the Mafia boss's rage. Getting fired is a small price to pay for escaping the shadow of this war. Suddenly, Logan's phone buzzes with news that the FBI is finally making its move. Logan's proximity to her enrages the boss. Julio realizes that being ruined is better than letting her go. The risks are lethal, but he will endure anything to keep her. His obsession is her only reality. A sudden alert! Logan warns Mujin Kong the FBI is moving. Prepare to play bodyguard at the Blue House now. Fate strikes as Mujin Kong's predatory eyes lock onto Gavin Smith's car. Logan is inside, unaware of the hunter. Recognizing De Yi instantly, Mujin Kong orders his driver to give chase. He won't let his prey escape. With a twisted smirk, he declares they'll take De Yi alive. He draws his gun, the hunt turning deadly. Bullets fly in a frantic chase. Meanwhile, Julio receives an urgent, soul-chilling call from the elusive 𝑦𝒂𝒓𝒓𝒊𝒅𝒏. The FBI is mobilizing, and Gavin Smith is the leak. The walls are closing in on their shadow empire. Gavin warns of an immediate sweep. 𝑦𝒂𝒓𝒓𝒊𝒅𝒏 confirms the danger, demanding an instant escape from the city's clutches. Finish up and meet at Repulse Bay in 15 minutes, Yuri commands. But for Julio, leaving isn't that simple. Julio drops a bombshell. Fleeing now is impossible. Yuri instantly realizes the complication is tied directly to Hannah. Yuri suggests sedating her to ensure cooperation. Put her under, he orders, dismissing any hesitation or moral qualms. Forget the side effects, just act. Julio remains silent, his dark resolve hardening as the stakes reach a breaking point. Julio understands perfectly. Yuri reveals the secret within Hannah's bracelet, a hidden cocktail of potent, mind-numbing chemicals. It carries propofol, a surgical-grade sedative. Yuri reassures him of its safety, masking the sinister nature of their plan. No side effects, only deep sleep, Yuri promises. Now, Julio must decide between a forced exit or FBI shackles. He can kidnap her while she sleeps or wait for the law to strike. The choice is life or imprisonment. The line goes dead. His henchman awaits orders. Julio begins orchestrating an escape that leaves no room for failure. "Get the men out. I'll follow," he commands. Then he requests a syringe, his gaze turning chillingly possessive. He prepares a needle for his captive prize. Elsewhere, Moo Jin Kong's relentless pursuit turns into a symphony of violence. He rains fire on Gavin's vehicle. Panic erupts inside as they wonder who this madman is and why he attacks. Yi panics, asking if Sergei's hounds have caught them. The ambush is sudden, brutal, and utterly terrifying. Their attacker's identity remains a mystery. They dive into a narrow side road, but the shadow behind them refuses to fade. The hunter draws near, his weapon barking. Suddenly, steel meets steel in a bone-jarring collision that shatters the silence. Gavin's car careens into the guardrail. Moo Jin Kong steps into the debris, his presence radiating a cold, terrifying authority. He inspects the wreckage, finding his targets broken and still. A cruel, satisfied smile touches his lips. His trap has sprung. Simultaneously, Hannah prepares her rescue, her heart pounding as she confides in the dangerous Julio. "Hurry, the coordinates lead to Stanley Bay," she urges. But Julio's gaze is fixed on her with predatory intensity. He claims her lips in a sudden, feverish kiss. She struggles, desperate to focus on the rescue mission. Time is irrelevant to him. With chilling precision, he readies the syringe, his obsession overriding all reason. The needle sinks into her skin. Hannah gasps, striking the syringe away as she demands to know his intentions. But the world begins to fade. As consciousness slips away, Julio's whispered apologies are the last thing she hears. She falls into his waiting arms. Meanwhile, Moo Jin Kong tears open the wreckage, his arrival signaling a new nightmare. Yi groggily asks who he is. In response, Moo Jin Kong jams a cold pistol under his chin. He whispers of a special bond with Yi's sister. Shocked, Yi demands to know how they're connected. "I know everything," he scoffs. He mockingly thanks Yi for the photo, praising his clever but futile secret. He reveals the hidden message within the image. Red oak, he notes, is a foolish choice for any vessel. It's weak against water. By photographing that floor, Yi signaled he was trapped on a ship at sea. He hoped to be found. Sadly, his sister was too dense to decode his desperate wooden plea for help. Yi gasps, cursing the man's terrifying intellect. "What do you want?" he screams, before collapsing into hopeless silence. Moo Jin Kong remains chillingly composed. "Stay awake," he warns. "We haven't even begun our little game yet." "I need you awake for the next part," he sneers. Suddenly, Gavin Smith groans, his eyes fluttering open. Gavin stares, paralyzed by the sight of the real Moo Jin Kong. The boss mocks him, feigning polite curiosity. "Have we been introduced?" he asks. Gavin snarls, demanding to know how he tracked them to this godforsaken place. Such loud words for a man with a gun to his head. Moo Jin Kong laughs, his eyes devoid of mercy. He aims and pulls the trigger without a second thought. Bang! A single shot echoes. Logan screams at the insanity. "You've crossed the line!" Logan roars. Moo Jin Kong just shrugs. "Relax, it was just a little wake-up call." Logan rushes to the wreckage. He looks back at his boss, confirming their high-value target is finally within reach. Before his brother can finish, a cold barrel presses his temple. Moo Jin Kong asks if he's forgotten his place. "Don't test my patience," he warns, ordering Logan to scrub the blood and hide the bodies away. As he leaves, he smirks. It's time to truly embrace his role as the ultimate heartless villain. On the ship, Hannah jolts awake screaming. Reality hits, she's trapped in a golden cage on the sea. This is Yuri's vessel. Memories of Julio's betrayal flood back, stinging her soul like a fresh wound. Why did he stop her? Why weave a web of lies just to keep her under his thumb? Boiling with rage, she storms out, crashing into a secret meeting with fire in her defiant eyes. "Am I interrupting your dark business?" she spits. Julio rises, his predatory gaze devouring her trembling form. He asks how she feels. Hannah scoffs the man who drugged her, now plays the concerned protector. He plunged that needle into her neck. Suppressing her fury, she demands her brother's location right now. Silence falls like a shroud. Julio finally admits the coordinates were a lie. Her brother is gone. He claims the FBI forced his hand, a calculated move to ensure she had nowhere else to run. Heartbreak turns to venom. Hannah lunges, grabbing his shirt as her world shatters into a million pieces. "You promised," she cries, her trust burning. He only stares back with a dark, obsessive intensity. When he stays silent, she shoves him away. She'll jump into the abyss before staying his prisoner. She marches toward the deck, ready to swim. Julio's desperate pleas are nothing but static in the wind. Tears stream down her face as she flees. Suddenly, Julio's hand clamps onto hers, refusing to let go. She snatches her arm back, calling him a hollow hypocrite. Her heart is a storm of grief. Suddenly, her phone screams. A flicker of hope, could it be her brother calling from the dark? But it's a cold, unfamiliar voice. The man introduces himself as the Shadow, Moo-Jin Kong. "Where is he?" She trembles. Moo-Jin Kong admits things got bloody, but her brother still lives. He meant to kill him, but their resemblance stayed his hand, a twisted mercy from a monster. He hints at his true face, a secret she should know. He's the one pulling every string. He's tracked her. The moment they hang up, the FBI will swarm her like starving, rabid wolves. He mocks the dilettante beside her, warning her not to get tangled in such dangerous affairs. "Come to me," he whispers, a dark invitation to join her brother in his den of sin. The pieces click into place. It's him, the mastermind, Yanang Yu, finally stepping out from the shadows. He chuckles, impressed by her wit. But Hannah's fear has now morphed into a vow of vengeance. "Next time, I'll put a bullet in your throat," she hisses, her voice as sharp as steel. She cuts the call and glares at Julio. "Did you know?" she demands, searching for his lies. Instead of answering, he pulls her into a possessive embrace, whispering a soft, haunting apology. She begs for her brother's life. Julio reassures her he's already paid a heavy price for safety. "To whom did you pay?" she asks. Julio's gaze turns icy. "I paid death itself," he replies. He's set guards on the enemy, but Hannah knows the Mafia's loyalty is always for sale. Logan follows the money. Julio merely smirks at her lingering, desperate, and frantic doubt. "Money buys souls," he asserts. Desperate, Hannah offers a deal her life for her brother's safety. Julio agrees, calling himself a nice villain while she's the bad one for using his heart. He promises she won't need to leave. He leans in, his breath hot, demanding a kiss. "And if I refuse?" she challenges. His smile is predatory, he'll just have to steal her breath. He plants a kiss on her cheek. Hannah pulls him close, telling him to drop the act. She calls him a fool, yet presses against him, acknowledging the dark heat between them tonight. This might be their last night together. Julio smirks, reminding her she was the one who started this. Back in the room, he notices how her eyes linger on his powerful, scarred, and naked frame. She admits she's addicted to his body. He's just thankful he has one thing she can't resist. The obsession deepens as the shadows close in. The Mafia boss has finally claimed his prize. "You asked for this," Julio growls, claiming her lips in a kiss that marks her as his. Hannah curses his arrogance, yet his tender touch casts a spell that makes her heart ache with longing. As their heat intensifies, the Mafia boss demands her eyes, forbidding her from looking away for even a second. He hungers for her kiss, unaware that Hannah is already silently mourning their final, stolen night together. If tomorrow brings their end, she refuses to waste a single moment on anything but this dangerous fire. Tonight, she'll indulge in this dark obsession, clinging to his body as if she'll never let him go. Morning finds the predator turned protector, whispering that his captive can sleep just a little while longer. Once the door clicks shut, the sleeping beauty vanishes, replaced by a woman fueled by desperate resolve. Haunted by the ghost of his touch, she struggles to ignore the memories currently driving her insane. Drained and trembling, she reaches for her phone, demanding the truth from Logan at last. The truth hits hard. Her possessive captor, Julio, was the one secretly orchestrating her brother's daring rescue. Her heart races as she asks of her brother, learning he's wounded but finally out of immediate danger. Logan curses the madness of Muing Kong, begging her forgiveness for failing to see the monster sooner. "If you're truly sorry, prove it," she commands, declaring herself the leader of this high-stakes operation. Logan gasps at her audacity. Does the boss know she's taking the reins of Operation Valentine? She'll keep him in the dark. With the CIA circling, she refuses to put him in their sights. To protect her Dark Prince, she enters a secret pact, ready to forge a lethal new strategy. The pieces move. She summons her allies while Logan prepares the elite explosive ordnance disposal squad. With the explosives set, she cold-bloodedly orders an arsenal of weapons to level the playing field. The door creaks, and her secret collaborator, Sei, enters the room like a shadow in the night. Logan's voice trembles over the line, questioning who else has joined this treacherous underground alliance. She confirms the unthinkable. A faction from 𝑨𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚 empire is now providing the backup she needs. 𝑧 watches her with sharp eyes, demanding to know if she's truly ready for this suicide mission. As the trap is set, 𝑧 prepares a chilling syringe, the final key to their desperate gamble. Logan can't stay silent any longer, desperate to know exactly what Hannah is doing to herself. Her voice is cold as ice as she reveals she's currently carving a tracker into her flesh. Against a fox like Muin Kong, a simple device won't do. She must become the beacon herself. Even as she promises safety, Logan feels the cold dread of what this mission will cost her. The clock is ticking. In exactly 32 minutes, her world will explode into absolute chaos. She'll hit the mark on time, entrusting her brother's very life to Logan's hands one last time. The line goes dead, leaving her in the silent company of the woman who just marked her. 𝑧 warns her the silent GPS chip will only scream to life once she hits the freezing water. Hannah offers a vow of future debt, deeply grateful for the help that has cost 𝑧 so much. But 𝑧 shakes her head. This isn't about repayment, it's about a shared bond of survival. Will Julio ever forgive you for this? 𝑧 asks. Knowing the boss's possessive rage is legendary. That's why he can never know. If the truth surfaces, Julio's wrath will spare no one involved. 𝑧 knows she's risking death, yet she sees her own broken past reflected in Hannah's eyes. Haunted by her own history, she prays that Hannah can achieve the miracle she never could. Save your brother, she whispers. But first, she demands the truth. How does she feel about Julio? After a brutal training session, 𝑧 draws near, checking if Hannah's resolve is as sharp as steel. The guards are distracted for now, but the clock is screaming they're running out of borrowed time. Before disappearing into the night, Hannah reaches out, a final gesture of respect between two warriors. Instead of a cold handshake, she's met with a warm embrace, a silent thanks for her honesty. Suddenly, the air freezes. Julio storms out, his eyes blazing with a dark, possessive fury. She bolts for the edge, diving into the abyss while screaming for him to stay back. He begs her to stay, desperate for one last word. But Hannah's heart is cold. She warns him to vanish while he still can. No prison visits, no second chances. Go back to your underworld, she spits, before diving into the dark, icy depths. Julio roars in fury. He orders Lorenzo to find Logan and demand the truth. He glares at 𝑧, accusing her of helping Hannah leap to her certain death. His rage explodes. Julio flips the table, sending everything crashing into 1,000 pieces. He towers over 𝑧, his voice a thunderous demand for an immediate explanation. 𝑨𝒂𝒓𝒓𝒊𝒅𝒏𝒕𝒂𝒍𝒍𝒚, strikes like lightning, shielding his wife from the Mafia boss's terrifying wrath. Touch her and you die, 𝑨 warns, his eyes burning with cold, protective steel. Julio sneers, challenged by 𝑨's calm. The air thickens with the scent of blood. He's drowning in agony. Hannah's reckless choices have pushed him to the absolute brink. 𝑧 trembles behind her husband, clutching a secret that could shatter Julio's soul. She buries Hannah's confession deep inside. One wrong word would ignite this powder keg. Elsewhere, the atmosphere is suffocating. Muin Kong tightens the noose around Dewey's neck. You have her eyes, Muin muses, comparing the captive twin to his obsession, Hannah. Dewey doesn't flinch. He focuses on the danger closing in, ignoring the villain's taunts. The clock is ticking. Personal reflections are a luxury they can no longer afford. Muin plays the hero, but Dewey sees the monster beneath. He knows his sister. Run now, Dewey warns, sensing the Reaper's breath. The shadows are moving against them. Even beaten and bound, Dewey reads the battlefield better than his kidnapper ever could. Muin scoffs, claiming he's only protecting an innocent soul from the Mafia's cruel grip. Then comes the twisted revelation. Muin confesses his dark, obsessive love for Hannah. I miss her to the point of madness, he whispers. Running is not an option. He's prepared to save her, even if he has to burn the world down. A wicked grin spreads across Muin's face. Dewey is merely the bait for his queen. Bound and helpless, Dewey wonders how he can possibly stop this spiraling nightmare. Muin shrugs. Freedom is close, but it comes with a devastating hidden price tag. The madman is riding high. He begins to leak his master plan to his hostage. With a cocky smirk, he explains the gambit. Everything hinges on Logan's arrival. A trade-off. Hannah for her brother. He bets everything on her sacrificial sibling love. Suddenly, a jarring ring shatters the silence. Muin's phone screams for his immediate attention. It's not Logan, it's Hannah. Her voice cuts through the air like a sharpened blade. She mocks his confusion. Why chase a ghost when the real threat is above? Chaos erupts. Hannah rains bullets from a helicopter, catching the crew completely off guard. I told you, she screams over the rotors. Next time, the gun hits your throat. Muin just laughs. the sound of a man who has truly lost his mind. Flash! He yanks Dewey into a chokehold, pressing cold steel against the boy's temple. A bold move, my queen, he sneers, using her own brother as a shield. He offers a devil's bargain, but Logan bursts in, breathless with a new crisis. Gavin Smith is trapped on 14, Logan shouts. Hannah's mission just got deadlier. Logan urges her to focus. Moojin won't kill his only leverage. Not yet, anyway. Forget the boy for now, Logan commands. We have a bigger fire to extinguish. Hannah acts instantly, grabbing the chopper's rope as it swings toward the high-rise. Wait for me, she hisses at Moojin. I'm coming back to finish this later. She scales the building, a vengeful shadow destined to crash through the 14th floor. Time is running out, but Moojin Kang just smirks, hinting darkly that his survival rests in her hands. He'll be her human shield. Meanwhile, Hannah shocks Logan with the news. Gavin Smith is finally under her thumb. The asset is secured, but the victory fades instantly when Logan warns her Moojin Kang is on the move. He's descending toward the basement. Hannah rips the gag off Gavin, who can't hide his twisted, excited grin. Finally we meet, he purrs, eyeing Hannah before demandingly asking where that monster, Moojin Kang, is hiding. He wants him alive. Hannah threatens to shut him up again, making him quickly vow to uncover everything. He'll find the files to clear her brother's name. Ever the pragmatist, Hannah doesn't waste a single second. Hurry up, she snaps, reminding him she's only here because she absolutely has to be for this mission. With a fierce gaze, she kicks the door open, the wood splintering as the weight of danger settles in. The hallway isn't empty. Her breath hitches as she finds herself staring down a horde of Moojin's killers. They're charging! Stay behind me! She barks at Gavin, knowing his life ends the moment they get him. If he's caught now, her rescue was for nothing. Without a heartbeat of doubt, she dives into the fray. It's a storm of violence. She tears through the guards with lethal precision, leaving a trail of broken men. Keep up if you want Kang alive, she yells, dragging Gavin through the chaos as the facility turns into hell. Amidst the gunfire, she casually mentions she chose to save him before her own brother. A heavy debt. You owe me, she teases. Gavin scoffs, suggesting he'll settle the score by saving her twin in return. He promises to give his all if they actually survive this death trap. Their lives are hanging by a thread. They breach the control room. Hannah turns to Gavin, her eyes burning with a desperate, cold intensity. Are the crimes of Moojin Kang truly hidden here? She demands, needing the evidence to end this nightmare. He nods confidently, fingers already flying across the keys to strip the Mafia boss of every dark secret. The hack begins. He slices through the high-level security like a hot knife through butter, smirking at his success. I've got this, he assures her, sensing the immense pressure weighing on her for her brother's sake. As the progress bar crawls, a chilling voice shatters the silence. Moojin Kang has finally found his prey. The mission grinds to a terrifying halt. Moojin laughs, mocking Hannah for choosing Data over her own flesh. He steps out of the shadows, holding Day in a lethal chokehold, a cold barrel pressed against his temple. Did you think I was playing, Hannah? He whispers darkly, his eyes fixed on her with predatory obsession. He tightens his grip as he nears. Hannah doesn't flinch, raising her gun with a steady, lethal hand. You're not the only one with a gun, she growls, before suddenly lunging forward with a desperate plan. Day, get down! She fires. The bullet shatters the steel cuffs with impossible precision, freeing her brother instantly. Day slips away as Moojin hits the floor, but the boss is fast, his gun still aimed to kill. He targets Day again, but Hannah is a blur of motion. Her marksman instincts kick in, fast and deadly. She shoots the gun right out of his hand. Give up, Moojin. You've already lost this game. Instead of fear, a haunting laugh erupts from his throat, sending a shiver down everyone's spine. He walks toward the elevator with terrifying calm. I think not, he purrs, disappearing into the dark shaft. Hannah spins toward Gavin, her heart racing. How much longer? We need to get out of here now. 99%, he replies calmly. Relief floods her senses. They are so close to the end. But the predator returns. Before she can breathe, Moojin's powerful arms wrap around her, dragging her back. He pulls her into the elevator, his smirk widening as he traps her against the cold, metal wall. Finally, just the two of us, he whispers. Hannah glares back, unfazed by his twisted, dark obsession. You've crossed a line, she spits. He just smiles, claiming he's fallen for her all over again. Suddenly, a realization hits. Her wound. It's exactly where the GPS chip was hidden. The crash caused this. Warm blood soaks her clothes. As her vision blurs and her mind begins to spiral into the darkness, Moojin forces her to look at him, demanding her attention. You really are insane, she wheezes, defiant. He wants her gaze, but she refuses to break. She's the one who controls her own fate, always. No matter his games, she won't break. Unfazed, the Mafia boss just grins with a terrifying hunger. Hannah faces the dark future that awaits beside a monster like Julio Parenti. He paints a grim reality, declaring Korea a ghost of her past. Italy offers no sanctuary for a woman whose hands are stained red. The Kingpin offers a pact, but sudden tremors shatter the air. Confusion clouds his eyes as chaos erupts far above the basement floor. The structure groans while Hannah reveals her lethal mastery of explosives. As alarms wail, she whispers she is the architect of ruin. This murder scene is transforming into a mountain of falling stone. Outside, Day and Gavin Smith barely escape death's jaws, but a brother's soul keeps Day tethered to the tower. Gavin begs him to stay honoring the vow he made her. Guilt gnaws at him as he hears Hannah's voice pleading. The conflict inside him burns as he dreams of rescue. Military iron descends while helicopters roar through the smoke-filled sky. The army arrives, leaving everyone wondering what this war means. Inside the wreckage, Hannah's lifeblood ebbs away from a mangled leg. Muin Kong watches her with a chilling and heartless indifference. He scoffs at her gamble even as the oxygen thins out. Hannah's vision fades, but her defiance burns through the suffocating air. Leaning in, Muin coldly maps out her descent into the void. He counts her shallow breaths while her heart slows down. Warning of eternal sleep, he tries to distract her soul. To stall the end, he weaves a tale of Yan Sang-yi. It was a name given by parents who loved a stranger. He knew warmth until tragedy stole his world without a trace. Mad with grief, he found himself lost in darkness. He turned to drug dealing during his most tumultuous hour. He found Mok Kong believing him to be a beacon of hope. He was entangled in the web, longing for a fresh start. He dreamt of being Yansu, of shedding his mafia ghost skin. Ironically, he fell for the woman who shattered his every plan. In these final seconds, he acknowledges their shared end. He begs to know if she ever truly considered him. Thunderous blows strike as a savior claws through the abyss. Light pierces the tomb as suspense builds in the dying elevator. Julio Parenti emerges, commanding her to take his hand right now. He pulls her close, a possessive shield against the falling world. Vowing to never let go, Hannah slumps in his desperate arms. Her hand falls cold as he demands if Muin is satisfied. Outside, a sea of blue and red awaits the king's exit. Julio strides out, cradling his broken angel into the police line, suspected of murder and the sins of the drug trade. Every gun is aimed, yet he stares back without fear. "Will you shoot a dying girl?" He challenges the world. He lowers her gently, surrendering only to the touch of her hair. He whispers to her pale, unconscious form, vowing everything will be fine. After all, she is his Hannah Lee. Rising from her side, Julio faces a storm. Hannah's brother, Dee, explodes with a stream of murderous, venomous rage. Charging with lethal intent, Dai swings wildly, swearing to kill the man. Julio Parenti remains dangerously, chillingly composed. The Mafia boss apologizes coolly. He won't fall here. The only person allowed to destroy him is Hannah herself. Dai strikes again, blinded by fury. But the Mafia king blocks the blow with effortless, predatory grace and skill. With icy authority, Julio halts the brawl. He admits one hit was earned, but Hannah's life is the priority. Tensions reach a breaking point until a mocking voice shatters the air, questioning this pathetic, low-budget soap opera. The intruder sneers, noting his luck. Every criminal on his most wanted list has gathered in one convenient trap. He declares escape impossible. Caught red-handed, the law finally has the devil himself in its inescapable, crushing sights. Julio turns, eyes narrowing at the newcomer. He wonders if the CIA is truly this bored with law-abiding citizens. The man is Moby Sergey. He scoffs at the idea of Julio being an innocent, law-abiding citizen of society. Law-abiding? Sergey laughs. In his predatory eyes, Julio is the most enticing, high-value target he has ever tracked. Cops swarm the perimeter, steel traps closing. Sergey asserts they belong where all monsters go, behind cold, heavy bars. As handcuffs gleam, Gavin Smith charges in like a whirlwind, screaming that these two are not the real targets. A puzzled Sergey demands proof, insisting the case is closed. But Gavin refuses to let the investigation end here. He brandishes a flash drive, the bloody truth scooped from the depths of Edward Liu's dark and secret hideout. Gavin shouts their innocence. Julio and Dai are pawns. He's been chasing the real shadow for many long months. Sergey remains skeptical, questioning Gavin's sanity. He won't release two high-profile criminals on a mere, unproven whim. The USB's contents are dismissed as unverified garbage. But before he can finish, the sound of tires shatters the air. A car screeches onto the scene, a getaway vessel ready to scoop up the two alleged dangerous criminals. Julio tosses a card, a final insult. Call the attorney, he sneers, because he has a hospital visit planned. The engine roars away, leaving a fuming Sergei screaming threats into the dust of their daring, defiant escape. Later, the Dark King sits by Hannah's bed, watching over his captive prize with a deep, obsessive intensity. Hannah wakes, her mind a blurred haze. Then she sees him, her dangerous, newfound lover, watching her every breath. He breathes her name, crushing her hand in a gloomy grip that screams he'll never let her go again. Hannah laughs weakly, mocking his grieving face. She's far too stubborn to leave this world and his side yet. A heavy sigh escapes him. She asks if he was worried, her eyes searching for warmth in his dark. He squeezes her hand, a silent confession. He is simply grateful his beautiful obsession is still breathing and safe. Their lips meet in a feverish kiss, pulling them toward the sanctuary and heat of the tangled bedsheets. In the heat of the moment, Julio whispers his darkest fear, the terrifying thought of losing her for good. He craves more romance, but she pulls away. There is a weight on her mind that must be settled. Trembling, she asks of her brother. Julio calms her, promising Dee is safe and receiving medical care right now. It's deep into the night, and the world is quiet. Hannah's relief is palpable as she sinks into him. Julio wants no more questions. He pulls her back, having buried these possessive feelings for far too long. Elsewhere, Say confronts Hannah. She's terrified by the reckless plan to level the building without a word of warning. Overcome with emotion, Say admits she feared the worst. Hannah gently urges her to stay calm for the baby. Say's guilt is a heavy shroud, but Hannah silences her with a soft, comforting kiss of deep, heartfelt gratitude. From the shadows, the predators watch. Julio Parenti and Yuri Petrov observe the tender, quiet reunion between the two. Yuri shatters the peace, questioning Hannah's plans. Is she really preparing to become a bodyguard at the Blue House? Hannah is stunned. She never mentioned that secret. Yuri smiles sharply. There are always ways for him to know. He offers a deal for DY's innocence, but it's conditional. She must hand over Muin Kong to his custody. Caught off guard, Hannah searches Julio's eyes. She never told Yuri Petro about the plan. How did he know? Yuri smirks, his influence absolute. He offers her brother's freedom, but only if she delivers Muin Kong to him. A cruel choice looms. To save her family, she must betray another. The power imbalance leaves her breathless. Say stares at her husband in disbelief. Is Muin Kong truly being released, or is the nightmare just beginning? Gavin Smith prepares to trade Mujin Kong to the feds for glory. Yet the fox smiles, already calculating a jailbreak from his cage. Hannah grants Yuri a chance, provided he sways her brother first. Dai interrogates the ghost, Mujin Kong, who hides behind 3 masks. Amidst the grilling, Dai drops news that shatters Kong's icy mask. Cambodia is the endgame, where the feds wait to claim him. Yet Yuri Petrov, a deadlier predator, is already circling his prey. Despite the pressure from underworld titans, Dai refuses to break. Kong laughs, mocking Dai for serving aboard a criminal's ship. Dai's fury flares as he leans in, testing Kong's cold nerves. The air turns cold as Dai exposes Kong's fear for Hannah. A twisted bond forms. Kong admits he's intrigued by Dai's blood. Scorned by Dai, the troublemaker prepares his final lethal card. He sees his sister in Dai, yet Dai scorns the sentiment. Kong drops a bombshell, revealing secrets of his brother, Muho Kong. The truth emerges, painting a blood-soaked picture of drug deals. Kong claims that his brother's influence is a dark, global threat, especially since the monster is now running for high public office. Kong weaves a story to manipulate Dai's heart for his ends. Hannah interrupts the mental duel, her presence commanding the room. She dares him to settle his blood feud with his hands. It's a psychological war, a bound man versus a woman's wit. Hannah flips the script, exposing the hitmen hunting for his life. Why take him out now, when his death was already faked? He faked his death once, but he remains a terminal danger. To keep him quiet, he must be erased from the picture. Chilling laughter fills the room. Hannah has checkmated the fox. Armed with Yuri's intel, she reveals Muho has landed in Cambodia. The walls close in, and Hannah offers him a final deal. Alone, Hannah's heart is a storm of secrets and forbidden fears. She prays Dai is safe while the world crumbles around her. Will the ghost bite? Can she clear her brother's name? And what of Julio Parenti, the boss who haunts her soul? The weight of her choices is a heavy load of destiny. Hannah walks a tightrope between duty and her dark, obsessive desire. Loving a mafia boss could shatter her dreams of the future. She won't risk her life for a criminal's cold, possessive embrace. She must stay sharp. Letting emotions rule will only lead to ruin. Then Julio appears like a beautiful nightmare, demanding her total focus. She teases him with a smile, hiding the war within her. He kisses her brow, promising they dock the next day. He claims her hand, inviting her into his dark, dangerous world. Hannah recoils from his touch, choosing her brother's house instead. Julio's eyes darken with disappointment as his prize slips away. He begs for more time before finally letting her go. She'd visit his empire or he'd fly to Korea. Their bond was now forged in steel. The Mafia lord was stunned. Why didn't she run? Finally, Hannah revealed her true heart. "I love you," she whispered. In that embrace, the captive had finally conquered her captor. Wine and sunlight bathed them by the pool. Yet, Julio Parenti felt the looming shadow of parting. "This isn't our finale," Hannah declared. Her resolve sparked a fire in the dangerous boss. He kissed her, overwhelmed by rare joy. For a man ruled by blood, life had changed forever. Even death seemed different now, because of her. "I love you," the predator confessed to his prey. Their lips met in a heated farewell. He promised her a throne on his private island. Taking her hand, Julio chose to linger. His dark obsession wouldn't let her fade away. He slipped a secret phone into her hand. "Come back to me whenever you crave more." Hannah boarded her brother's vessel. Day spoke of Rio, his eyes fixed on the distant horizon. After crushing Taijun Choi, they'd be free. Suddenly, an explosion shattered the ocean's calm. Chaos erupted on a nearby ship. Hannah realized a daring prison break was in motion. Mujin Kong was escaping. Panicked, Hannah questioned if their master plan was now in ruins. Day didn't care for Mujin, but the thought of Muho Kong rising as president? Truly terrifying. Only one brother could eliminate the other. Mujin was their best weapon against Muho's tyranny. The twins stood united. Their vengeful game would play out until the very last drop. Elsewhere, Taijun Choi cowered in a hospital. Trembling, he begged for salvation over the phone. Muho Kong was closing in like a reaper. The smell of death was finally catching up. He'd cheated fate once before. But today, his luck had run dry. He was cornered. Amidst his breakdown, a shadow appeared. Hannah sauntered in, her presence a cold, sharp blade. "You sound so desperate, Taijun." Her voice sent a chill straight through his spine. The phone clattered to the floor. How did you find me?" he stammered in terror. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Then Day vaulted through the window, grinning like a demon. "I promised to end you, remember?" Hannah's eyes burned with a dark, vengeful light. "Brother, how should we break him?" Day's smile grew wide. "Let's make it hurt." As he begged, Hannah leaned in close. "Korea is a grave you'll never reach alive." Muho Kong was nearly here. She whispered a final, cruel question. "Do you want to live?" Screeching tires heralded the devil's arrival. Muho Kong stepped out, radiating a lethal, crushing aura. He mocked Taijun's pathetic will to survive. Hiding in a secluded ward? How predictable. Today, the hunt would finally conclude. The hospital door was kicked off its hinges. Muho loomed over the hospital bed. "You look even worse than I hoped," he sneered. "It would have been simpler if you'd just died." His voice was colder than the grave. Taijun shrieked in terror. He blamed the drug's side effects for his pathetic failure. Muho Kong didn't care about his excuses. A tool that breaks is simply garbage. "You leaked the evidence," Muho growled. "You ruined everything with your own stupidity." "Where is Daylay?" Muho demanded. Taijun countered with a desperate, trembling snarl. The air turned heavy as lead. Muho drew his pistol, the steel glinting with malice. The barrel pressed hard against Taijun's temple. "Tell me where he is, or die." "Curtains down," Muho whispered. "Hannah, help me," Taijun screamed at the top of his lungs. Muho froze. Why call for her? Then, the sound of bodies hitting the floor echoed. Hannah was dismantling his guards with brutal grace. The door creaked open, revealing the queen. She stepped into the den of death. Muho aimed his weapon, his eyes narrowed with rage. "Do you know who I am? National Assemblyman?" Hannah smirked. "No, just a common criminal." "Smile, Muho Kong. Your fall from grace is being streamed live to the world." Hannah strikes like a cobra. On the live stream, the truth explodes as she traps Muho Kong in his own sins. Drug trafficking, murder, and hired blades. The list of his atrocities flows like blood, while the internet erupts in fury. Each comment is a nail in his coffin. Hannah stares him down with icy resolve, daring the cornered rat to move. Overwhelmed by the digital lynch mob, the predator cowers. Muho Kong flees the hospital, desperate to escape the blinding light. Ton Choi scoffs at her mercy, wondering why she let the monster slip away. But Hannah knows a darker fate awaits. Suddenly, Dis storms in like a thunderclap. He delivers a stinging blow to Ton Choi for barking at his sister. Hannah calms the storm, her eyes glowing with a secret. "There's a much bigger beast hunting him now," she whispers. She watches the coward retreat into the shadows. Little does he know, his agonizing downfall has only just begun. Ton Choi asks if the war is over, but Dee's eyes flash with a lethal promise. "Stay alive until I return. Because once I'm out, your debt will be paid in blood." The twins vanish, leaving the hospital in their wake. Back at the safe house, the nightmare continues. Logan reports that her sanctuary in Korea has been ransacked by goons. Dee offers her a way out, but she hesitates. Korea is now a cage, her face burned into every mind. The world knows the bodyguard now. When he mentions joining the Shadow King, Julio Parenti, her breath hitches in fear. To enter his world is to lose herself forever. She trembles, not yet ready for that dark, obsessive path. Day looks at her with bittersweet pride. "You save everyone, while I've grown used to burying my own teammates." He treats death like a job, but she is different. When she tries to hide, De forces her to face reality. "Go to Julio," he urges, sensing her hidden longing. He is the only wall strong enough to shield you. He wants her to find happiness, even in the darkness. "Wherever fate leads us, my shadow will always protect yours." A final thank you, a final embrace. Live the life you want, Hannah. Their souls touch one last time. Days blur by, and it returns to the battlefield of Korea. Meanwhile, the law finally awakens to Muho Kong's stench. The arrest warrant is signed in iron. Every screen in the nation broadcasts the spectacular downfall of a corrupt king. The public devours the chaos like vultures. But in the shadows, Hannah's own world is crumbling around her. The veil is torn. Her identity is leaked to the hungry masses, shattering her dreams of a normal life. Her career at the Blue House dies before it began. The elite bodyguard is now nothing more than a ghost. Hannah lingers in the silence of her room, mulling over Day's advice. Suddenly, her phone vibrates, snapping her awake. Glowing coordinates pulse on the screen like a digital heartbeat. Memories of Julio's mysterious parting gift flood her mind. Was she ever truly free? A tracker. A leash from her obsidian-eyed captor. The realization hits her like a physical blow. Hannah squints at the map, deciphering the riddle. One point is the king, but who is the other shadow? The gap between them closes. The predator is near. A sudden knock on her door shatters the heavy silence. To her shock, it isn't the boss, but a bloodied Mu-jin Kong. The soldier stands there, smelling of war. Caught off guard, she asks why he's here. But he pushes past her, desperately needing to wash away the gore. He must clean himself, or the world will see the villain he's become. "I look like the bad guy." She watches him strip away his battle-torn armor, curiosity burning. Her eyes drift to the cold steel at his hip. "It's empty," he says nonchalantly, thanking her for having his back. He ditched the gun when the bullets ran out. He reveals the depth of the terror she's sown. "You scared Muho Kong so much, he hired 15 elite guards. Did he finish it?" He shakes his head. The monster deserves a much more poetic ending than a quick death. She tends to his wounds with a gentle hand. Antibiotics and mercy for the man who fought her war. The conversation takes a sharp turn toward the GPS signal. A shocking secret is hidden beneath Mu-jin's skin. A tracker implanted by the Mafia boss himself. Julio Parenti never leaves his pieces to chance or fate. The rhythmic beeping indicates that someone absolute has arrived. The master is coming to claim what is his. "He's here," Mu-jin whispers, leading her to the door. The air thickens with the scent of danger and power. Her heart hammers against her ribs. Is her sweetheart about to walk through the door, or her beautiful nightmare? The door swings wide, and her hunch is right. She rushes into his possessive embrace, wrapping her arms tight. Before she can speak, he pulls her into a burning kiss. "Is that really the first thing you want to know?" He confesses his obsession, his eyes dark with longing. "The moment you left, I realized I could never let you go." Every second away from her felt like torture. To make matters worse, she had chosen to leave his side. The uncertainty of her return was driving him mad. That obsession is exactly what led him to this very moment. Under intense pressure, he declares that her return to Korea is canceled. Instead, he has a far more seductive proposal. She must stay with him. To sweeten the deal, he teases a grand surprise waiting just for her. They arrive at a breathtaking estate. He casually asks if the Parenti family castle meets her high standards. Hannah is blunt as ever. She admits the architecture is stunning, but her suspicion starts to grow. She demands to know his true intentions. Julio responds with a declaration that leaves her breathless. He intends to introduce her to the family, but first, they have some private business to settle. Stepping inside, Hannah notices a chilling silence. The massive mansion feels unnervingly empty and void of life. No servants are in sight. Before she can speak, Julio's powerful arm snakes around her slender waist. He pulls her into the shadows. With a dark smirk, he asks if she prefers having an audience. Hannah realizes this was the business he mentioned. But before she can protest, the Mafia boss takes control. Julio silences her with a possessive kiss. She fears an interruption, but he has already cleared the floor. He whispers that they won't be disturbed until morning. Relieved, Hannah finally lets her guard down. She surrenders to the heat of the moment. As their passion ignites, he leads her toward the bedroom. He throws her onto the bed, his eyes burning. He warns her that tonight, there is no stopping. Even if she begs, he won't let go. Surprisingly, that's exactly what her heart craves. Tension fills the room. Hannah finally confesses her love for the boss, but Julio simply takes her hand with a mysterious gaze. He tells her to save those words for later. That night, Julio discusses his need for a security expert. He suggests Hannah start her own agency. If she stays, they won't ever need to trust an outsider. She wonders when he planned all this. Julio admits he had this vision long before her betrayal. She had risked everything for her brother. Now, Hannah playfully reminds him she hasn't officially said yes yet. Her elite skills aren't cheap. If the terms aren't perfect, she will walk away without a second thought. But Julio Parenti is relentless. He won't let her leave after she completely conquered his cold heart. He vows she isn't going anywhere until she bears the Parenti name. He's already preparing for a war. He has picked a fight with his stubborn grandfather. Seeing her confusion, he explains his family's dark dynamic. The old man is hosting a massive birthday gala tomorrow. It is the perfect stage for a confrontation. Hannah asks if this is the introduction he promised. He keeps his cards close to his chest. There is still business to settle first. The next day, Julio emerges looking like a lethal god in silk. He asks if she is ready. With a determined nod, she takes his hand and they depart. They enter the lavish party, where all eyes instantly fixate on the powerful Julio Parenti. The atmosphere is electric. He playfully asks if she's jealous of the attention. He promises to return after greeting the family patriarch. He seals his promise with a tender forehead kiss. Amidst their banter, Hannah senses a hidden, darker agenda. This is no ordinary birthday bash. Suddenly, the legendary grandfather appears, flanked by two beautiful young women. The old man arrives with a cold presence. He immediately mocks Julio for bringing a common foreigner home. Despite the warnings, Julio stood firm. He wasn't about to let his grandfather dictate his heart's desire. He proudly declares that Hannah is his choice. The old man scoffs, commenting on how childish she looks. Hannah fires back. She notes she is likely older than the girls hanging off the old man's arms. Her brashness earns a lethal glare. Unfazed, she decides to explore the mansion while the men talk business. She wants to avoid the drama. Julio whispers a warning they are standing in a den of Mafia wolves. As she exits, the patriarch suggests Julio keep Hannah as a mere mistress. Julio's eyes turn to ice. He rejects the insult instantly, reaffirming his loyalty. He summons Romano to bring the final piece of leverage. A thick envelope is presented. It contains the deed to the entire island, including the private fortress beaches. Julio has fulfilled his end of the bloody bargain. He demands his grandfather stay out of his life. But the old man remains unmoved. Smirking, he crumples the deed and asserts his absolute terrifying authority. With a sharp gesture, the Don's men lunge at Hannah, blades bared as the elder watches. He thought Julio was broken, but his elite guards are slaughtered by the woman in seconds. The lethal Hannah Lee leaves a trail of carnage, approaching him with chilling and dark confidence. She mocks his heritage and claims his grandson, Julio Parenti, as her own personal, forbidden prize. With icy grace, she marks her territory. Meanwhile, Mok Kong frantically escapes through the dense forest. His lungs burn while scrambling through the brush, praying his flight from the Mafia was successful. He laughs at his luck, certain this remote wilderness has finally hidden him from their reach. Relief floods his soul upon reaching the mercenary safe house, a sanctuary granted by his allies. While sneaking toward the hideout, Muho feels a victory, believing the worst is now behind him. With backup from Korea already called, he prepares to hide until the deadly conflict finally ends. He curses Mujin Kong's betrayal, unable to understand why he would bite his only provider. Suddenly, the air freezes. To his absolute horror, the lethal Mujin Kong emerges from shadows. With a predator's smirk, the assassin whispers that survival requires a bite sharp enough to kill. Mok Kong trembles, demanding the name of the monster holding a cold knife against his throat. His brother's voice drips with malice, claiming the legacy of the man who raised a monster. Paralyzed by terror, Mok Kong stammers, wondering how his hidden location was compromised so very easily. The steel bites deeper as Mu Jin Kong sneers at his brother's pathetic attempt for answers. He delivers an ultimatum: return to Korea and rot in prison for one long, grueling year. One wrong move means death. He's ordered to erase Dee and Hannah from his fragile mind. A chilling promise of a future reunion follows as the shadow assassin exits the quiet building. With a lethal flourish of his blade, he vanishes, haunted by the obsessive Mafia couple's image. He recalls the intense heat between Julio and Hannah and her absolute refusal to choose him. Disappearing into the forest, he whispers a final goodbye. Meanwhile, a helicopter cuts through clouds. Hannah and Julio soar above, the tension between them as thick as the heavy mountain air. She asks where they are going, but the possessive boss merely smirks with dark, burning desire. Sighing at his games, she climbs onto his lap, surrendering to the man who kidnapped her. Julio pulls her closer, claiming her beauty as a blinding light in his world of darkness. Their playful banter turns to passion, resulting in a deep, soul-consuming, and very desperate kiss. 3 months pass. At the Tiano stronghold, desperate men wait on the roof for a miracle. The thunder of rotors echoes. A helicopter descends, bringing the woman who now commands the Mafia. Hannah lands with lethal intent, her eyes cold as she prepares to crush the enemy gang. She hits the ground running, her voice sharp over comms as she coordinates a tactical massacre. These fools dared to invade her territory, and now face the wrath of the boss's woman. They came for the technology and drugs, unaware of the demon guarding the company's steel gates. Relying on the CEO's dark past was their mistake. They have no idea who they provoked. She vows to make them bleed for their arrogance as the chopper's blades kick up dust. Stepping into the chaos, she locates the company champion, his life hanging by a thin thread. Hannah confirms his status, promising that under her protection, no harm shall come to him. A call from Julio buzzes. She answers mid-stride, updating her obsessive lover on the bloody mission. The Mafia King has one demand: kill them all, but keep her skin pure and blood-free. Failure brings a punishment she might enjoy. She grins, promising to satisfy his every dark whim. Bristling with heavy weaponry, she storms the halls, blowing a kiss of death to the intruders. "Ciao," she whispers as the trigger pulls. The curtains fall on this twisted, obsessive Mafia tale. We hope this dark romance of Hannah and her boss thrilled you. It was wild. Please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of obsession. Until next time, and ciao.